Welcome to the Fool's Guild, where we talk about everything video games. Alright. Hello, welcome to the Fool's Guild. I'm Mitch.
And I'm Perry.
And today we're going to be talking about the Persona franchise, continuing our JRPG discussion. Mm-hmm. Now, Perry, you have gone on the record to say that Persona 3 was not very good.
Yeah, I like Persona 3 very much.
And why do you think that is?
Because of Tartarus.
Okay.
Only because of Tartarus.
Really? Just because of Tartarus?
Okay,
Nothing
no.
else?
Some of the social links weren't as good. They were very watered down.
Dang.
Like coming back from Persona 4, yeah, they weren't as good.
Okay, so talk to me about Tartarus then. What did you not like about Tartarus?
Tartarus was a hellscape that no person should ever have to deal with. All of the floors looked exactly the same, and the only difference between them was that some of them had ramps, and some of them didn't have ramps. All the shadow designs were also very lame, too. That's like, the shadow designs for 3 was the lowest point of the series, because some of them just looked like spoons, and the others looked like chairs. They were so unbelievably lame to deal with.
You must not have played Persona 4 then, because it was kind of the same.
Okay, you're right there. You're right there.
And also, Tartarus had different, sections, and they had, a different vibe change.
They had a different color.
They did have a different color, but I guess it's not enough. But, yeah, I personally thought Tartarus was fine. I did like how that they had, a save point before every boss that would take you directly to the bottom, because I was like, dang, if I didn't have this, I'd probably throw my controller.
Yeah, because there was also that whole system where your main character, everybody in the party actually could get tired or sick.
Yeah.
And they just wouldn't be able to show up to Tartarus. It was like, well, there goes my healer. What am I supposed to do now?
And it just depended on the type of day they were having, really.
Yeah, actually before. So if you were hanging out with them at a social link beforehand, you could completely ruin your Tartarus run for that night.
Yeah. No, and then, if you went to the bathroom, it'd be like, oh, I'm feeling great now.
Yeah, so he would spam going to the bathroom until your character feels better.
Uh-huh.
Or go to the creepy nurse and, take medicine.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought a lot of the mini-bosses, when you had to reach a certain floor, I felt like that was very... a lot of them were a lot harder than a lot of the full moon bosses that you had to, actually fight to progress the story.
Yes.
But they had these gimmicks that were fine to deal with. You could just cheese them at some points. But I would say overall Tartarus was very unforgiving because it's just you miss one time, or Mitsuru uses Maren Karen for the 3rd time.
Dude, yeah.
And it just completely ruins your entire run. And then Makoto, I call him Makoto, the protagonist Kun.
Oh yeah. But
he'll get down with a Moss spell. And then it's just it's over.
Yeah.
When
every character goes down, everybody's kick his ass. The shadows just know. He's the main character. Look at his hair. It's blue.
He's depressed. Kill him.
He's the most depressed character here in this game about depression. Yeah.
But yeah, I also thought, I don't know if you were against or for some of the costumes.
Oh, you mean the high leg armor? I mean, their models weren't exactly the best in game, so...
I agree with you.
It's not the whole purpose of the very scantily clad armor is supposed to be eye candy, but it's Mitsuru and Yukari look like triangles, so yeah, it's not
They didn't even change the portraits. They just stayed in their school uniform. Yeah. Was okay, I guess if you want me to wear this.
Oh yeah, if you're dating her at the time, you also can date everybody in your party, all the girls at least. That was also another really weird thing that they kind of cracked down on in 4 and 5, but we can get to that later.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think about the full moon bosses?
The full moon bosses, like you said before, the mini bosses in Tartarus were a lot more difficult. So when I went to go fight the full moon bosses, it was I kind of slapped them around basically a little bit. But there was one that stuck out of my mind for just being really annoying. It was the tank one where I split into 2. So you had to kill both of them in the same turn basically. Yeah. Or they'd use Samara Karm on both one or the other and to get all its health back.
Yeah.
But eventually when they started losing NP, they could only give it back to half health. But at the same time, it was just a really long process that I didn't want to have to deal with. Going like, okay, Junpei does 50 damage with Agi or Aguila, whatever he had at that point, and Akihiko can use like Zio Dean on him. Like, okay, do it this turn. Bam, he misses. Like, okay, the other one hits. I'm like, okay, well, that's another 10 minutes I gotta deal with right there. Just really annoying.
Yeah, that was probably honestly the most difficult full moon boss for me was the lovers. I don't know what it was. I think it was just like they would CC you until you just could not do anything.
Yeah, I think that's the one with the Love Hotel, right?
The Love Hotel.
Yeah, that was funny. Didn't they also steal your party members too?
I think that's what it was. They would just like CC all your party members and like make them attack you.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I can't control them, so I can't like prevent that at all. Yeah, and I don't know if you want to talk about the final boss yet, or if you want to save that for later.
You want to talk about some of the social links first?
Let's talk about let's talk just about the party members.
Okay. Who's your favorite party member? Throw that one at you.
Makoto.
Main character Kun.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of his like I forget what you called them, but they were like when you had 2 personas in the party or 3 personas.
Oh yeah, you could use like your fusion move, right?
Yeah, some sort of like combo move. Like a lot of those were so good. Like there's the one with I think Orpheus and
the
Lavardi.
The blue lady, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever her name was, and then like they would just heal your party for half health.
Yeah,
I
thought that was
like an early like fusion combo or whatever.
Yeah,
so good.
That is something that Persona 3 had over Persona 4. Like just that fusion move implication was a very smart thing to do. It really I felt like they were pushing the combat a little bit more as compared to like 4.
Yeah, they were definitely thinking more about the combat just to make it more interesting. Because I honestly feel like there was a lot more ideas going into Tartarus, just like as like how can we make this more interesting as like a 200 floor tower, as opposed to like splitting up all the different we can do this mechanic in this palace or whatever. But yeah, Junpei.
Oh, that's like
Magician. With Io.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, Junpei was okay. If you played the portable version, you got a lot more information about him. Where if you can play the FemC that everybody loves so much, and like
FemC.
Yeah, when 5 came out. Oh, okay, we'll get to that later. But I really like this. Again, it suffered from the same exact problem that the Persona on PlayStation suffered from, is that you had to date everybody. So you were if you were the girl, you were dating Junpei, Akihiko, Ken. Like that was super. Ryuji,
Theo.
You were just dating everybody. I'm like, okay, you can do this, but it feels super sleazy. Like even for the guy, it still feels super sleazy. I'm like, I don't think the super depressed character will be cheating on all of his friends. Just super weird. But if I could say who was my favorite, either Ken or Akihiko probably. Like the best ones. But you want to go into depth about Junpei's jealousy a little bit more? Because I feel like the story between him and Makoto at the very beginning of the game, like just him, Makoto, and Yukari, was like the strongest like relationship wise, because he was very upfront about not liking the main character at the time. He was like, oh, he gets to be in charge, I'm just as good. And everybody's like, well, he has like 15 personas that he can just change from. And I'm like, you don't need to be angry here, bro. But like the main character's like, dude, I don't. He didn't even want to be the leader, is the funny part.
That's what I feel about what every protagonist has. They're just like, well, I didn't choose this, but I guess I'm just the best now. And then there's always somebody with an inferiority complex because of that. Junpei is definitely insecure little guy.
Yeah, I think it's because he has very thin hair. What?
Oh, there goes my light.
Okay.
Oh well.
Okay, we'll just keep talking.
We'll just keep going.
Yeah. We can talk about Yukari. I really don't remember her that much.
Yukari. You don't remember like how mean she was, and then
she
over the course of the story, she gains character development like halfway through, even though. And then then you can start like courting her and forming a relationship with her after she like works out her daddy issues.
Yeah, you had to. Oh wait, I remember. You only had 3 stats in that game. You had charm, courage, and academics, and you had to max out charm before you could do anything with her. She was like, "You don't have enough charm to talk to Yukari," and I'm like, "What's this very shallow for somebody who's supposed to be one of my party members?"
I feel like the game just made her a lot more popular than she seemed to be, because it just seemed like she was like the popular girl everyone wanted. Like, oh my gosh, you're with Yuka-chan. Oh my god, look at this guy. He's walking to class with Yuka-chan, bro. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, she doesn't even seem that like that popular.
Yeah.
Like, you never see her hanging out with a bunch of girls or guys hitting on her or anything.
Yeah,
she's like a girl.
During the beginning of the game, she's hanging out by herself in the classroom. So I'm thinking, oh. Because again, coming back from Persona 4, I'm like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with Junpei first, gonna complete his social link, and then I'll hang out with Yukari. She'll basically be like the Yukiko of the game. I'll hang out with her second. And it's like, you don't get to hang out with Junpei, you have to hang out with the other guy, I forget his name, and he's your magician social link. Can I think of his name? Kenji, yeah. And then you don't get to hang out with Yukari until like what?
Until after, I think the second to last moon boss, like until like the island.
Yeah, like September or October or something. I'm like, the game's
island.
Yeah, the game's basically done by that point. You only have 2 months left to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like.
It's lame.
Yeah. That's why I like Fuka better. Fuka was like, you want to hang out? Yes, let's hang out, Fuka. Thank you. Like the game really did.
Like I'm bullied all the time, and I'm also depressed.
Yeah, the game did a really good job of making you feel like you were lonely for a good portion of the game.
Especially when everyone's like in their rooms, and it's like, I don't think Yukari wants to talk.
Yeah,
I'm like, dang.
Like what? Like you go knock on like Akihiko's door. Like I'm being sad about my best friend right now. I'm like, come on, does nobody want to do anything?
Koromaru's like just asleep. Like it's like nobody's available to do anything.
Yeah, it was like, oh hey, can we go to Tartarus? Like everybody like jumps out of their rooms. Like we're going to Tartarus. Like they're going to McDonald's together or something.
Yeah. We go back to Yukari. I don't think she was that bad.
Yeah.
As bad as people make it out, because a lot of people just say, "Oh, she's a bitch." Like Yukari, like, "Oh, she's just mean and doesn't like." I'm like, but I mean, like, whatever. She's like a teenage girl.
Yeah, she's what, 17?
16,
so 14. Yeah, who knows? 14 will be on.
I mean,
yeah. Who knows? They're ambiguous age. They're in high school, so just leave it at that.
They're 14 to 18.
14 to 18, yeah.
There's the light.
But yeah, Yukari wasn't that bad. Yukari, whatever you want to say her name. Yuka-chan. Yukata! Hey! But yeah.
What do you think about Mitsuru?
Ice Queen, I think, aside from, say, Fuka and the Justice social link, Chihiro, and Igus, I say that she was one of the stronger social links in the game, because hers felt like the most that you were just hanging out with somebody. I remember the one event that you did where you went to like the sushi bar and like the ramen bar together, where you're teaching her like commoners etiquette, basically. It's like when you're slurping the noodles, you're supposed to. That signifies that to the chef that you're doing something he likes his food, basically. And I'm like, this feels like I'm just hanging out with somebody. It doesn't like, because out of everybody, Mitsuru has like the most stable mindset in your group.
She's definitely the most mature in the group.
So it doesn't feel like you're. It was one of the few times where I didn't want to solve anybody's problems, and I didn't have to solve anybody's problems at a social link. Yes, I have a friend here, basically, is what I was thinking. Not somebody to cry, who needs to cry on my shoulder every few seconds.
She's definitely the mom of the group. I wish that her social link was more focused, because it seemed like it was a little all over the place.
Yes.
In terms of like, oh, I have an arranged marriage. I have to marry this guy. Because that's in every Persona game. It's like, I'm in an arranged marriage because my family hates me, and they just like the traditional marriage. And then it got to like, oh, we're hanging out in the library, and like, oh, we're hanging out here. And I'm like, okay, this is cool, just like hang out, but I'm not like getting anything of substance, nor am I working towards like a romance. It's just kind of like an oh yeah. It's like, oh, you wanna go out? We'll get to that later. Anything else on Mitsuru?
Unless you want to talk about the fighting games, which we can do at a different point in time.
Maybe. I haven't played those.
Okay, but we'll go on.
About Akihiko Sanada.
The boy, protein. He's all about protein, man. He's like, I'm gonna drink this protein shake while I'm eating all these eggs, while I'm also doing a 25K marathon, while I'm also being sad about being from an orphanage. I love Akihiko. And he was super awkward around girls too. So like being 15 playing this game at the time, like I had like being the big tall guy at the time who did like I'm kind of awkward around girls and everything. I'm like I like this guy.
This guy gets it.
He fucking gets it, bro.
Yeah. We can go into the story later, but yeah, he's definitely
Yeah. Okay. Next.
We have Fuka.
Fuka was. Cough was I feel like the best if you want to get to like shipping stuff.
Oh boy.
No
thank you.
Rip your hands together. I'm going to skip over it. In terms of somebody who I felt would be good for your main character to again be a friend with, for somebody who they were kindred souls basically to each other, because like you were talking about earlier, from what we knew about the main character, he really didn't have any friends, or had a hard time making friends, one of the two. Mm-hmm. And Fuka was in a similar vein as that she didn't have any friends by light, so she was.
I'm just gonna turn that off.
Okay, cool. Pause.
It's like overheating. I don't know. Just having a good time.
And continuing with Fuka, in that she wasn't being alone all the time made her a very easy target for bullies. So when they came together and they just talked about all their problems and social links with each other, it actually felt like you were making some progress toward healing each other. Because for some reason with Makoto, I couldn't really. You're not really supposed to self-insert with JRPG characters, but with him, I felt like a very big disconnect between him, basically. Like, I identify with other characters more than I did with him in the game.
Yeah, okay. I definitely feel like in this one, or in the Persona franchise, you can insert yourself. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like they're definitely designed, like all the, like, 3 Persona protagonists that we're going to be talking about today. Mm-hmm. They're definitely just very, like, bland.
Yes.
And it's like, when you're seeing, like Makoto or Joker, you're just like, oh, that's me. Like, oh, that's me. I have dark hair and glasses, you know?
Yeah.
But, I definitely liked Fuka the most in the whole Seas, just because, she wasn't, didn't have a lot of baggage, and most of her emotional struggle just came from being bullied.
Yeah.
The social link was kind of generic again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were.
Can I cook for you? It's like, sure.
Yeah, they were kind of like sucks. Doggy paddling with the social links in this game. They're still trying to find their footing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But it definitely worked out at the end.
Yes.
Now we have Ken.
Mm-hmm. Little boy.
What the actual? It's the ghost fight.
We have a ghosted here.
I'm just gonna.
Just unplug that.
Just gonna do it for both of them.
It comes back on. Yeah. Your house is actually on.
I hope so.
But for Ken, your little boy, your little brother, I feel like we need to talk about him in conjunction with another character.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who the next one is?
The axe guy. I forget his name. Shinji. There we go. Yeah, with Shinji. I completely forgot about Shinji. I'm sorry, Shinji. But I feel like a lot of his story comes with his connection with Shinji, basically, which is actually kind of a good thing because it ties into the greater plot of Persona 3.
Of course.
So I feel like with Shinji, spoilers by the way, accidentally killing his mom when they were out doing their baby C's thing, I feel like it's a very good thing that they connected their two social links with not social links, just their stories with each other. And I feel like after Shinji's death, at the same time, Akihiko is also, like, his persona evolves completely by itself. He doesn't even need you to, like, get him through his problems, which I feel like was a good thing. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens with Ken when they both get over Shinji's death, like Ken not being able to kill him and also forgiving him too, and Akihiko forgiving himself for not being able to protect Ken is a good thing.
Yeah.
But again, there's not really much about him that I can really say.
He likes that one ramen place.
Yeah, that's about it.
I think he
thinks Komaru with He takes Komaru out for walks.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean everybody does, but that was like his thing.
And he does. I think he also cooks for Koromaru too. At least in the movie he did, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about Koromaru.
Komaru wasn't even the mascot of the game, dude.
No, he wasn't.
He's
not cartoony.
Yeah, he got replaced by a robot. I guess is the mascot of Persona. Like even on the game case, she's the main focus. Yeah, it's not Komaru.
It's her.
Yeah, and in the dancing games, it would be her, Teddy, and then Morgana.
Yeah,
like he lost to
dancing in Moonlight.
Yeah.
That just sucks. No, and Koromaru's backstory is also really sad. Because it's like
dog again that waited for his owner at the train station every single day. Wasn't that what he was based on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget.
Something like that. Yeah, but it was like he would go on a walk in the same route because that's the route his old owner used to walk with him, and it was like a priest in the shrine. That's where they found him. Or they found him like kind of like attacking a person or attacking a shadow
yeah.
persona.
Like imagining a dog just awakening his own persona. Like that was some cool stuff.
Summon persona. Yeah. I'm like, we don't need you anymore. I guess we got a dog.
Here we got a dog.
We can talk about Igus.
The
Aeon.
Yeah, the 20 social link. He was good. You helped her become a person during the tsunami. If you like, again, because you're romancing everybody, she's the only one who comes to check up on your character when they're sick. And she just waits in your room, just watching you. Like, this is endearing, but also kind of creepy at the same time. And I'm thinking, like...
She was, like, basically made to protect you, though.
Yeah, no, that's the weird part, too. It's like, when your main character's parents died, she was, like, on the bridge fighting shadows. And, like, man, that kid's kind of cute. Something like that. I forget the exact specifications, but, yeah. I guess it was good. She was good.
We can talk about the rest of the social links. This is going to be a long episode.
Yeah.
Kenji, the magician. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I have a crush on my teacher, or I'm in love with my teacher, or I'm going to ask her to marry me.
They do that better in the other games.
Yeah, when you can actually date your teacher.
Yeah.
We did Fuka. Do you want to talk about the social links, or did we already do that a little bit?
I don't think we talked about the side character social links. I don't even remember most of them.
Do you just want like the side characters then? Bunkichi and Mitsuko, the Hierophant.
The Hierophant? That's the book couple, right?
Yeah, it's the book owners.
Yeah, they were like, you look exactly like our son.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of creepy. But they were nice to hang out with. They were fun. They were just telling me like, oh yeah, our son
used to be depressed.
Yeah. What's with the young people
that got in a car crash, and then it brought back bad memories for both people, both parties. Then it's like, okay, we're wanting to like keep this tree up, but then the school is gonna break it down to like have a new facility there, and then they're like, oh, we're moving the tree. I'm like, why was I here then? Like, what am I here for?
Yeah.
And I think it's just because they thought that he was like signing a petition or getting a petition to save the tree or whatever. But Kaz.
Oh, he was
He's the athlete.
Yeah, I was like, why? I was thinking to myself, like, why are chariots always related to like athletes or whatever? But that's probably like the whole tarot card thing that I don't get super into. And he was okay. Wasn't his leg like broken or something? No,
his leg was like hurting.
Yeah,
and it's like you won't be able to walk again even though you're on the swim team.
Yeah, and it's like, what's going on here? And I'm like, don't you make like a friend? Don't you become friends with like his rival or whatever?
Yeah, you become friends with like the best athlete in I think the region, which is Mamoru, who's a star.
Oh, he was a star. Okay, I was thinking he was like the strength, but then I remember like your team manager is the strength.
Yeah, Yuko.
Yeah,
Yuko's the strength.
Do you have anything to say about her? Because I sure don't. I sure do.
That was probably one of the worst ones. I mean, it's just like she's like just trying to teach younger kids to run.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, look at them running around. And then it's like just asking her out to coffee sometimes. And that's it.
Yeah, that's the whole social link.
Which I'm fine with. Like I kind of felt like they were kind of running out of steam with a lot of the social links in this game. So I'm not gonna hold it against them.
Yeah, a good chunk of them fell flat. The only ones that I think that were memorable, I like the monk. again, that was another old person. Was like, "You're exactly like my son." I'm like,
Yeah.
God dang.
It's like,
it.
why does every old person think I'm their son? Oh, because I'm just a generic
I'm
protagonist.
a
character.
generic
Dark
blue
hair.
hair protagonist.
And
Can't tell me
headphones
apart.
on.
And then you would like hang out with him while he smokes cigars at the top of a club
And
and
drinks whiskey from the bottle.
Yeah.
Just like,
It's like, I'm a cut. How's school going?
never come back here, but I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Yeah, you like hung out with him on Saturdays after a while. Yeah, really super weird.
There's Chihiro. Chihiro's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like overcoming her fear of men.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah. Like, I can't talk to men, but I can talk to you.
Yeah, but I mean, I can talk to you to get over it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, what does that make me?
Sir Twinks a lot, probably. Alright, who's next?
The Hermit Maya.
Oh, your teacher.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I like.
That was actually like a teacher. You got to, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Because she asked you out on a date.
I know. At the end of the game, she tries to ask him out. She's like, "No, I can't do this." Like, it's so hilarious.
I'm like, but what about it can't you do, right? It's like, is it because I'm too young, or is it because you're just embarrassed? Like,
Yeah, she was losing her mind. I was so angry that they didn't get a conclusion at the end of that, like an epilogue.
I'm glad they didn't, honestly.
I was super
weird.
interested in what would happen, but that was funny.
We have Maiko, the Hanged Man. Maiko was good because it was like about like her divorced parents. And
the little girl. I
the
remember.
little girl.
Yeah.
But then it was weird when she's like, "I'm in love with you."
Yeah. Yep, I remember that. Yep. You were eating takoyaki with her dad. He was like, "Yeah, she was talking about it. She was talking about you all the line." I'm like, I'm being very uncomfortable here. Like, I'm getting secondhand uncomfortableness from this video game right now. Can you please stop talking about how much your daughter likes my character?
But yeah, I just thought it was kind of weird how like this like young girl was hanging out with a high school boy the whole time, and also hangs out with like a 20-something-year-old ghost.
Yeah, your son's social link who's like dying of cancer.
Yeah, Akinari. That was probably my favorite one.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
That's honestly probably my favorite one in the entire series.
I feel like he represents like Persona 3's social links the most with the way that it concluded, because the whole game revolves around like accepting death and things like that. And at the very end of the game, he was able to accept his death in a very dignified way.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it makes me feel like he was probably one of the first ones that they made, just because it was like so fresh and with the whole plot and the whole story and the themes of just like death and time and living life, like, and not getting any meaning out of it until you're dead. And we just have a bunch of nobodies, like Bebe. Did you do Bebe?
Your French friend?
Your French friend who was like,
He
had ambiguous sexuality and
you just taught him about Japanese culture.
Yeah, he just became a weeb, and then he wanted to show something to his like uncle or something, and he's like, "Look, I'm not useless. I made a kimono."
Yeah, most of those social links were just a blur.
Mamoru.
Who was that again? Was it the Gourmet King?
No, he was the athlete, the star athlete.
He was poor. I remember that.
Yeah, he was poor. He was trying to help his mom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the social links. I feel like they're not like reused exactly, but I feel like there's definitely more, or there's definitely like shared plots and themes between a lot of them.
Yeah.
Izumi, who was the Gourmet King cook.
I just remember him being Dick.
Yeah, he's just kind of unredeemable, and you never get any chance to just like throw it back in his face and like reject him. You always have to defend him. And I was like, where's my option to say no and like
be a better person?
Yeah. But I guess it's like it was trying to go along with the thing where it's like you have to say what they want you to say to like deepen your bond. Which I'm like, that's kind of dumb.
That is not good.
And then we had Tanaka, which I thought was pretty good.
I like Tanaka. His whole thing was exploiting you, basically, until the end of where he donates to like a hospital or just like some children's fund, basically.
Yeah, he starts like some sort of organization to teach kids about business. So he doesn't like end up the way like he was back in his like just to help less fortunate kids, which I thought was okay.
I thought that was a good devil like social link.
A dark web overlord in the next game. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. I don't know why he's here. Then we have Ice.
I guess it's good. Yeah, we talked about her.
Oh, I forgot to say that, like, I don't know if you knew this, but you can visit, like, Tanaka on the last day of that you're, like, supposed to go to Tartarus.
Yeah.
And just skip the end of Tartarus.
Really?
Like, you can start his social link or you can end his social link because you have access to Polonium Mall. And you can just start the link and you'll spend time with him the night you're supposed to be going to, like, Tartarus and, like, fighting Nyx. And it just goes to graduation day. And I'm like,
that's a glitch in the game, I'm assuming.
It is.
Interesting.
But I think it's like, some interaction between like spending the night and then also like I don't know how Tartarus works.
Yeah, however Tartarus works,
so the story, do you like the story?
I feel like the story was serviceable because of the way that, like I was saying before, they did some of the social links with the guys in the group at least. I feel like the biggest failing for 4 and 5 is that nobody is allowed to really grow outside of your character unless they're like there to help out and participate with what's going on, basically. And then in 3, like I said before, Ken is able to grow, Akihiko is able to grow, Junpei is able to grow without your main character being like, hey, it's okay, but like giving a pat on the back. They're like, I'm gonna find my own resolve of all my persona by myself and I'm gonna help out my own way. And then it comes back to being like, say Junpei not being so jealous all the time and like that, and just the whole theme of the game with what was his name, Ryoji. So many similar names.
There's a lot of similar names
with Ryoji being Pharaohs and being Nyx at the same time. I feel like that was good because
he's like an avatar of Nyx.
He's like, I want to spend time with the humans before I completely decimate all of them. I'm thinking that's cool.
Yeah. I didn't really. I just thought it was a lot of confusing. There was a lot of confusing points because there was just like a lot of different stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you have the shadows, and you have the full moon bosses, and they're each like a shard of Nyx, and you have to kill them, and then it like. Killing all of them sets Nyx free somehow, and then Nyx can manifest itself into Ryoji, and then Ryoji has to like fight Aegis and kill Makoto or something.
Yeah.
And then like Aegis is like, this boy, like I was fighting this thing when your parents died, and then it was like it found a host in you.
Yeah, that's how you can be the wild card. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and then the former leader, like what was his name, Akutsuki. Yeah, the long-haired guy.
Shinji.
Like his whole thing was, I was tricking you the whole time because I just really want to die.
Yeah. And it's like we need to usher in a new like god. So it's like we need to bring death upon the world. And I was like, bro.
Yeah, and then what was the other group's name?
Strega. Yeah, they're like a glorified Team Rocket.
Yeah,
they didn't do anything.
I mean, they just kind of showed up and got their asses kicked every single
time. They did start that cult though, which I was like, oh, they're getting everyone hyped for the end. Okay.
Like death. Imagine if on your way to Tartarus, they just had a bunch of other people who were just like, boo, like WWE, like the season, like trying, you know, like let's say like Randy Orton just like walking down, like was like, you suck, like they were saying that to C's the whole time, and they were like, go Strega.
Like Nyx was like trash talking, like The Rock.
But I kind of like June a little bit, only because of his dialogue options, where if you get everybody's ultimate personas in the party, and then you also protect your weaknesses, he has a lot of extra dialogue in there, where he says, you couldn't defeat your weaknesses, so you chose to block them or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, no, we were able to overcome our weaknesses. That's why we're able to do this. So
yeah,
it shows how the two different sides are, well, different, obviously, and how June and Strega and the pseudo-Jesus guy, I forget his name, are very two different opposing groups. Of how Strega is just missing a lot of pieces about being able to understand the whole theme of the game, basically.
Yeah.
It's like they're death worshippers, and
they're waiting for death instead of like living your life.
Yes,
it's like a big contrast. What did you think about the end? The ending of the game?
The ending of the game, I liked what they did with all of your social links, because they do this every single time.
Yeah.
Giving you a little bit more power to seal nicks, essentially. And what your character does, like the little number 1 thing at the very end, like, he does have emotions finally at the very end. And then you fast forward through graduation, you go talk to everybody, and then you're like dying, and I guess it's laughing in the game. Yeah. He's like, don't worry, I will protect you.
He's like, I finally found the meaning of life. It can be to protect a person.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thanks.
And like, I sleep me. Yeah.
And then it's like, in the answer, it's like, yeah, actually, all of that was for nothing. Yeah. So we won't talk about that.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about the answer. The answer was super long. Was Tartarus for like 30 hours. I'm like, I'm not. I'll go watch a YouTube video where it shows all the plot points, because I'm not doing this.
Yeah, apparently it was really hard.
Yeah,
I didn't play it.
Yeah, like shit got me intensely hard. Yeah. And
there's another, I guess.
Yeah, Metis. Well, okay, wait, no, we're not talking about it.
Okay, the music.
The music. And then they get to the rap lyrics, and I don't know the rap lyrics, but Festival or Fez or however you want to describe it,
Fez.
That opening was a banger. I absolutely love it.
Opening.
Yeah, I was like, I will never leave you. It's like the beat drops, like, if you want to battle, then I take it to the street where the rules take off the rules. Ref, please sit down and gotta show my moves again. Like, that was freaking hype. I love it. I even learned the lyrics. I loved it that much. And like everybody's just like flat. It's like showing you all the snippets from the game, basically spoiling it like every anime opening ever. But it was still very good.
The ending is like, okay.
Yeah. It was very, I love the opening. I think that was aside from Persona 5, I think that was the strongest opening.
The Fest?
Yeah, Fest. I liked it a lot.
Okay. Okay. I liked Burn My Dread.
Burn My Dread was good. Just as a tangent, just talking about like the beginning of the game when Makoto's like coming into town and Yukari's like about to shoot herself with the seeds. So I'm like, am I about to lose one of my main characters like that immediately? But yeah, it had a very strong opening. Yeah, Persona 3 had a very good opening. Even though some of the meat of the game was rancid, it was still very good. Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about like the musical opening.
Oh, the musical opening, my bad. Yeah, Burn My Dread was good. I liked it.
What Did I Dorm? It's one of my favorite songs in the whole franchise. It's like that.
Oh yeah. It's like, dance while I put you in a trance. Yeah. Throw it in the garbage. It had a very memorable soundtrack, which made even going through Tartarus kind of worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. There was something about just like the whole, I don't know. It's almost like a nostalgic thing for the 90s, but it's like I wasn't like a kid in the 90s. I mean, I was a little bit, but I'm like on the tail end of that. So I don't know. And there was When Moon's Reaching on Stars. That's my like other favorite song from that, and that's like when you're like dismissed for class, and it's like I never felt like so miserable.
Oh yeah, when you're like just hanging out at Iwatoi School, is that what it's called?
Gekukan High.
Gekukan High, yeah.
And then the Watedai Mall or Polomi Mall. And yeah, you're just like running around in circles.
Yeah, or if you like pause long enough, he will put his hands in his pockets and start ringing up. But like that, like this guy's the biggest dork ever. I love him.
That's all I have. Anything else you want to talk about? P3
for
P3P maybe. FMC.
That made everybody fall in love with the FMC. And do you know a quick pop culture reference? You know Billy and Mandy. You know Jeff the Spider.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Atlas is Billy and Jeff is the FMC, where they say, she's like, I can be anything you want me to be, please just love me. Like, I want you to be dead, because everybody, like on forums, like in Persona 4, like, hey, can we play as a girl? Persona 5, They're like, Samire, hey. They're like, oh my god, when you play as a girl, I can date Ryuji. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's cool.
Yeah. Did you hear about there's one really cool conspiracy that's like FemC and the main character are actually brothers and sisters. And when you choose, like, between whether you want to be a girl or a guy, you choose which of the siblings dies in the car crash.
And portable?
Yeah, in P3P.
Yeah, if they explored that more, I feel like that's a cool thing. Because I want to say, like, there's some weird thing where you get, like, glances of the other one and, like, depending on the storyline or whatever. Yeah, and then in the opening, it's called Soul Phrase. I really like that one, too. Soul Phrase was really good. It was like, as I feel alive, dude, I love Persona 3's music. It was
Persona 3's music.
Like, that was
they're all really good.
They're all the soundtracks are really good, but I remember the lyrics to like a good chunk of the Persona 3 ones. Yeah. But yeah, it was like, it had a very interesting effect where if you held up your PSP one way, you get like the boy version. You held up the other way, you get the girl version of like what's going on. Yeah. It was very simple aesthetic basically. It's like on the guy side, where if you're just holding up like the normal way, like you see Fuka running around in the background a lot. And then if you flip it around, you see Ibis like doing stuff in the background, but they're mirror images of each other. So they're doing the exact same like thing. Like say one covered their eye, the other one's covering their eye, but one of them's like walking up the stairs, the other one's walking up the stairs. But yeah, they distinctly had Fuka being blue, which I'm assuming is for a guy, and then Ibis being pink, which is for a girl. It was a very cool little thing that they did.
It's cool. Except, like, you know, the rest of the game.
Then everything else was like, Gourmet King, get him out of here.
That's all I have for Persona 3.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about the dancing game?
No.
Oh, I also was looking at, like, Persona Q2, just, like, just to watch it, just for content. And then there was, like, one scene where FemC and Makoto actually meet, and they recognize each other, but I don't actually know what transpires there, so
yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
It was basically the Persona Q games are fan service. The game mainly, just to see people interact with each other. Like,
gosh, like there's Kanji and Morgana, they're hugging with that.
Yeah, or like Naoto and Akechi being like the two detective princes, and they have like a wits off or something. Like, this is cool, but they did need to do it twice.
Well, they're gonna do it again
when Persona 6 comes out.
They're probably gonna do it more than just again.
It'll be
P3 meets P6, P4 meets P1.
Yeah.
Like once they remake the P1 game.
It's like every group has at least 10 members. That's 40 characters just hanging out. Like in Fire Emblem, basically. Yeah. Except you have to have a meaningful interaction between, like, say, Kanji and Mitsuru, of all people. And I'm like, what are they going to do here? Like, I'm interested in seeing it, but I'm not going to pay $40 to see it.
Elizabeth talking with, like Ryuji. It's like, what is going on
here? I don't care about this. Yeah.
Oh, that's something we didn't talk about. It's like the Velvet Room.
Oh, yeah, the Velvet Room attendees. How Igor keeps making them... Oh yeah. It's like you can't get away with it this time, main character. You were Persona 3 MC was with Elizabeth, and then he was like, no, you can't do anything with this. I made it older this time. He's like, okay, I can't do the horizontal tango with you, but I can give you a big kiss. And then a Persona 5 was like, these are underage, but you can't do anything.
It's like, but actually they're just separated, and you put them back together.
Dude, yeah. And then the fan art is,
don't even talk about the fan art.
It's awful. But, but Elizabeth was cool. She was pretty much the inverse of your main character, where she was super happy and peppy all the time.
She was quirky, ready to live life.
Yeah, she was the most quirky of the Velvet siblings. That Yeah,
I think she's probably one of the funniest characters in the whole game.
She does.
In the whole franchise.
Yeah, you have that social link where she just dumps all of the money into the
fountain.
Yeah. And she's like, so I get a bunch of wishes now, right? And I'm like, yes, you do. I couldn't break down her spirit in this game where she was one of the very few lights at the end of the tunnel, where everybody else is like, I'm sad. She's like, yeah, let's go to the playground and slide or something.
I wouldn't have minded just dying in her lap, honestly. I'm like, who's Igus?
And again, from Portable, you can actually choose whose lap you get to die in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like Yukari, you can Yukari, Fuka, even Chihiro. And then for the guys, it's like, you can die in Kin's lap.
You can die in Shinji's lap.
You can die in.
He comes back.
Yeah, that's also a very cool thing that they did. It's like, oh, for some reason the bullet missed his heart. Now he's just in a coma. I'm like, well, I wish I could use him, but whatever.
Did you play P3 Fest?
Yeah, that's the one I own.
Okay, so you know like the Chidori thing?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about the Chidori thing?
I liked her relationship with Junpei. I think, again, it was another moment where he got to grow outside of the main character being there.
He actually got, he got a girl.
Yeah, he got development. I mean, she died, but hey, he still had the relationship there. And he was, I guess we didn't talk about, quote unquote, some of the more dark themes of Persona 3, where she was actually self-harming to make her paintings and everything. And everybody's like, oh, these paintings are fucking rad. But then Junpei comes in, it's like she's pricking her fingers, or I think even imply slitting her wrist basically to make the painting. He's like, no, you gotta stop doing this. She's like, but the art. And I'm thinking to myself oh man, I like art. That's a little bit too far, I know. Yeah, but you gotta stop this. And I'm like, Junpei being a very good guy, using everything that he's learned over the course of the game to help out this person. And that was one of the very few moments where it's like, because you know how they say in storytelling, everybody is the main character of their own story, even though we're following, say, MC-kun, basically.
Yeah.
That was one of the moments where I felt like, yes, Junpei is taking charge of his life, basically, which, again, is what the whole game is about. It was very good at doing that.
Yeah. Did you know that, you can save Chidori?
Fully?
Yeah.
After Strega loses, she still lives?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
There's a moment where there are several moments where Junpei's just chilling out at the dorm, and you're like, go visit Chidori in the hospital. And he's like, you know what? I'll probably go visit Chidori in the hospital. And then he goes to visit her, and there are different cutscenes, and I think it's just Fest. But once you complete just seeing her, I think 5 or 6 times or something, she transfers, she shows Junpei that she can heal people. And she heals these dead flowers on the table. And so at the end of the game, basically what happens is that she sealed her life force in the flowers, and so she regains her life force from those flowers and lives.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
It's fine. I feel a lot of people hate that.
Yeah.
They're but this just detracts from Junpei's story.
Yeah, it's fair.
He has to live for her now, but now he gets her.
Yeah, because I was thinking, because I looked at a little bit of the fighting games, I want to say Junpei, if you play his story, he brings up Chidori a couple of times, but I think they left it purposely ambiguous because of the whole detraction from if she lives or if she dies, or if you didn't play Fest. Yeah. But I still liked his story with her. It was good.
It was good.
Yes.
It was fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Persona 4. That was
yellow.
That was a thick convo there. Okay. Where did we start last time? Dungeoning?
Dungeoning? Yeah, we can start with dungeoning. Tartars, but with different skins, so that made it bearable.
Different skins. You had an 8-bit skin. You had a secret lab skin.
You had a strip club and a bathhouse skin.
Oh, of course. You can't have a Persona game without a bathhouse scene.
Yeah. You had, if you played Golden, you had the textile spin, basically like Izanami's, but a little bit foggier, basically, than Marie. Yeah. Heaven. Yeah, Heaven. I liked Heaven a lot.
Heaven was pretty cool.
Because you got to go see the best girl in the whole game, your little sister.
Best girl, little sis. Yeah, it was basically Tartars, but it was just 8 to 11 floors. It was a lot more condensed. Then there was just bigger floors. So it's you have to walk around a lot more treasure, more shadows.
Yeah.
And then you can actually control your damn characters now.
Yes,
what a relief.
You couldn't just give them suggestions like, hey, Mitsuru, you have a lot of healing skills. Could you try to heal people? She's like, I'll think about it.
It's hey, Mitsuru, I want you to go all out attack now. Mary Karen.
8 misses again, 3 times in a row. Yeah.
And then they added perks to your party members where you could do a follow-up attack and then Chie could just launch a character off screen forever.
She's does the little leg warm up things big chow. Yeah, it's
kicking him. Leader.
Mm-hmm. Should I go in?
Kick him.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. But yeah, we can talk about the characters.
Okay. Let's just start with your first party member, Yosuke. I liked Yosuke. I feel like because this started where you could actually hang out with your guy party members, which is what I was harping on him.
That's another great aspect of Persona.
Yeah, like I wanted to hang out with Junpei to figure out why he hated me so much. Other than the fact that other than me having a bunch of personas, I wanted to know like what's your problem with somebody who's in charge when you're not in charge, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yosuke's whole story was I had to move out to the sticks, leave my friends behind. My dad is the manager of Walmart. Basically, everybody hates me. Even the girl I like hates me. She barely talks to me.
And then all of her friends just use me for like vacation hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Sipping ain't easy.
Hey, he's a Sigma male.
He's a Sigma. He's not much of a lone wolf when he's like partner.
Yeah, no, that's true. Partner. Yeah, partner when
he's a ligma male. All right, that's enough of that. Okay.
Yeah, he's a true Sigma male.
But I like the conclusion.
Him and Kanji.
Yeah. I like the conclusion to his social link a lot, where it ends with the two of you getting into a fist fight. Because even though he was whole gung ho about like the partner leader thing, he's like, I need to get out this frustration about you being the coolest guy in the universe and me being your second banana, basically. And I'm like, yes, bring it on, Yosuke, let's do this. And it was a good conclusion.
Just like every anime rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, but I like Yosuke. I think he's definitely one of my favorite characters in the franchise.
Yes.
And he's probably my favorite Persona 4 character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like Margaret's probably my favorite Persona 3 character. And Yosuke's.
Wait,
because
Margaret?
He's funny. What?
Margaret? You mean Elizabeth?
Oh yeah, Elizabeth. Margaret sucks.
Yeah. Chie. I can understand why people like the tomboy aspect so much. She was a good character.
She looks like a guy.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't get past that. I'm like, you look too much like you could be a guy here.
No, she's cute.
Yeah.
But she does like steak and
Kung Fu movies.
Yeah, I feel like she's definitely like Futaba before Futaba.
Yeah.
And like a lot of guys are like, I like Kung Fu movies and steak.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like that. Oh, look, she also had a thing where she was coming to terms with her femininity. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was also a good portion of her social link.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the way that people swear by her is something that I couldn't get behind, though. Yeah. I'm like, she's a good party member.
A little weird.
Not that good, though.
She's in high school, so.
Calm down there, fellas. Yeah. Yeah.
I did like her social link.
Yukiko's okay.
Sorry.
Her whole thing was coming.
Oh, we forgot to talk about like Chie's awakening.
Oh yeah, Chie's awakening. I liked her how she became Darth Maul with her persona. Basically, that was cool. Yeah, and how her awakening revolved around her being like, I'm okay with being more feminine. I don't have to act like a guy all the time. I forget what her deal was. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do too, honestly.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I just remember that.
It definitely had to do with like Yukiko though.
Yeah, I remember like a group of guys like were messing with her, and you were like your character, you, Narukami, whatever you will call Narukami. Yeah, Narukami is like you leave Chie alone, and she just like it becomes putty in your hand after that. Like, oh my god, he saved me from a bunch of guys. I'm like, okay.
No, that's not what happened though.
That is
like, I don't need you to save me.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I completely like Chie's social link.
Yeah. It's just like she used to be king of the hill or whatever, and now she's just king of the swill.
King of the swill.
No, but yeah, I didn't. It's not really rememberable. So
yeah, not very memorable social link.
You can go to Yukiko because she didn't have a palace either, so it's like
she was a part.
I feel like Yosuke had more of a palace than her.
Yeah, he only had like one floor, but she just fought his boss there, and he got his thing. That's something else I would also like to talk about, how you don't get your party members until you beat their entire dungeon. I did not like that. In Persona 5, they really fixed that, but we can get onto that later.
Yeah, but I definitely feel like that was like intended.
Mm-hmm.
Yukiko.
Yeah, she's okay.
For the fourth time.
Yeah, for the fourth time. Yeah, she's okay. Her social link was like, I'm okay with staying in a small town. I'm like, you do you, girl. That's how I felt like the whole social link was. Like, hey, just do your thing.
It's like, I'm tired of people telling me what I can and can't do. And then later she's like, I'm gonna do what these people are telling me to do, but for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
yeah,
go for it.
Really cool. I'm like, yeah. I feel like
it's like, can I cook you some food?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, another piece.
It's awful.
Thank you.
It's awful. Yeah, I'm dying every time. You can't even make eggs right. You're killing me. You oversalted them.
So funny.
Just put a little bit of salt in it.
Taste like anything.
Yeah,
I was like,
they put so much in there that they don't taste like anything. I'm like, that is an actual talent right there. I'm imagining she's like dumping all of Dojima's spice cabinet into the little bowl of eggs that she's using to whisk them to make the omelets.
Yeah, her palace was just kind of like a castle.
Yeah. And
that was best Yukiko. Princess Yukiko.
And her dude, the shadow videos, you remember those on the Midnight Channel?
Yeah.
Was so
the cutscenes.
The cutscenes were so freaking weird.
Yeah.
Like we talk about I can't wait till we get to Risei, but Yukiko was like, I'm wearing my lacy unmentionables right now. And I'm like, they're
just like, mentioned them things.
Like, what is going on here? It gets worse in the anime too because Yu actually tries to record the videos and he can't. It's so hilarious.
I remember that was also a thing in like Yosuke calls you right after and then you can like talk about it with your boy.
He's like, dude, did you see Risei? And then he starts blushing a little bit. He's like, dude, that swimsuit. I'm like, we gotta go save her, buddy.
So we gotta save Yosuke first though. Like, I mean, it's drowning.
Yeah. But I also like how all the shadow bosses of your party members are symbolic. Yukiko's was a bird in a cage that just kept popping its head out occasionally, but will lock itself back up.
Yeah. And then it became like a 12-syllable word every time she had to summon it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yosuke's was like a frog.
Yeah.
And Chie's was like some person with a blade.
Yeah, she had like basically her persona, except instead of like the biker helmet, had like a banana face, and it was like sitting on top of. It goes back to the King of the Hill thing that you're talking about with her social link, where she's sitting on. Yeah, she's sitting on a bunch of top of kids basically. Yeah.
Do you remember any of their names?
The friends that she had?
No, like any of the personas. I remember Jiraiya.
I remember kanjis. It was Take Mikezuchi. I like that one.
Dang.
Yeah. Because he would say it in such a bombastic way. And he had a freaking folding chair. He's like, Take Mikezuchi, and just slammed it into his car.
I remember one of them was like a washing machine cover. I'm like, what even is that?
Yeah.
Next is Kanji.
Kanji. I like Kanji a lot.
I love Kanji.
Yeah,
Kanji's one of my favorite characters.
He's such a huge dork about everything that she does. And his, when Persona got mainstream, when 5 came out and everybody went back and played 4, like the whole thing with Kanji's social link and just his character in general was like coming to terms with his sexuality, basically. They're like, Kanji.
Not really.
Yeah, okay. Well, in certain portions, like it. Okay.
He's now tosexual.
Yeah. My whole thing is that. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I get come on, get it back. People would be like, oh my gosh, Kanji, like it's okay if you like you're gay, Kanji. And I'm like, the whole thing with Kanji is like he's supposed to, with everybody in the game, basically, like they're supposed to come to their own conclusions, and I didn't like how people were like essentially forcing things on them. Yeah.
Because he's just sewing. Like it's not like he's like actually gay or straight or anything. It's just that he's like, I like to sew, and sewing isn't manly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like the whole like point of him being flamboyant and probably gay in the Midnight Shadow.
Yeah.
Because that's how people perceived him.
Yeah.
So I think that's funny that like people on the internet are doing that same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and again, he's like, it doesn't matter about guys or girls. It's like, I just want to feel accepted in this small town where everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
And imagine being like the one outcast, basically, where you're supposed to be like a tight knit community. Like that's my boy right there. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Teddy. Teddy was okay.
Yeah, I thought Teddy was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't think he sucked. I didn't think he was great.
Yeah, he was your free social link.
He was.
Mm-hmm. He was the...
It's kind of a bitch to fight, though.
Oh, his boss fight. Directly after Risei.
Yeah, I was like...
that's not cool what you're doing right now. Not cool at all.
But he's fine.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be like, oh, hey, I'm helping you guys out now with Rise. Like, I can check what he's weak to. I'm like, that doesn't help that I have no health and no SP left, Rise. Thanks a lot. But yeah.
And then Rise.
She was funny. Especially, like, going back to the thing with Yosuke immediately calling you after her thing went down. He's like, oh, I'm going to do the striptease. And I'm like, okay. For Sony, you're going too far again.
Yeah, they were really sending it with her.
Yeah, I know that was the whole point, but it's still super
There's a bunch of idol stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the only personas where I was like, this wasn't like the Shadow at all, because it was like the Shadow was a stripper. It was like a really weird multicolored thing.
Yeah.
And then her persona was like a satellite dish. And I was like, okay, this isn't the same thing.
It was a satellite dish, and it had like Greek like drapery over it. Basically, it was like covering up the multicolored scales or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever. You say whatever you want to. Now we have Naoto.
I'm a Naoto stan, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I love Naoto. I love Naoto. She was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Naoto was fine. I played P5 first, so it was just like,
okay, yeah, that's fair.
I was like, this is just like a catchy 0.5.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
But
yeah, that's why I
she's very smart.
Yeah, when we can talk about catchy, I'm gonna drone on a little bit.
Just don't make it like a 30-minute rant.
I'll try.
With Union Key.
We'll never talking about Union Key ever again.
Good, because I deleted that video.
Good.
Okay. We can go on to the social links. They weren't bad.
They massive improvement. I even like the one social link with the single mom or whatever, or like her husband died. Yeah, the temperance social link, that one was very good. The devil social link was a little bit better this time around. I still didn't like it, but it was better.
The next one was pretty good.
Yes, it was very good.
Okay. Easy there.
Easy there. Great, fantastic. I love that devil social link. But the moon social link was very good. I liked I. She was cool. Even though
I didn't like I.
Oh, okay. I like is a very strong word. I was talking off the cuff on that one.
She grew on you after she was like, yeah, I used to be fat and ugly, and then I basically just like got plastic surgery.
Yeah, she became Queen Bee basically.
Yeah. Queen I. Yukiko.
We
talked about that.
Yeah.
Margaret doesn't really have one.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not gonna do what my sister did with the last guy because that killed him, so you can have a kiss instead. But you know who we can really talk about though? Nanako and Dojima.
Yeah, that was next. Ryotaro and Nanako.
Absolute S tier social links right there.
Those are quality.
Yes, absolutely love them. Just every day is great with your Junes. I'm like, oh.
I was like, can I just like die now? Like, I'm happy for once.
Like every time you would come home, she's like, welcome home, big bro. I'm like, oh,
I would literally I would walk over to her every time I would come home, and I would just like give her an in-game kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, hi little sis, I'm home.
I would just exhaust her dialogue, like to see if there's anything new.
Yeah,
just like, you doing all right today? Like, I know
you check the weather. I'm like, I check the weather every night. Don't worry.
Like Dojima's not home for like the millionth time this month.
You want a cookie? I got a cookie.
I got cookies. I picked up stuff from the store for you. I'm like, are you all right?
How will we go to Junes?
She's just so sad. The poor little girl. Like, her mom's dead. Her dad throws himself into his work because he doesn't want to think about his dead wife. She's at home.
He doesn't know how to deal with her.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh.
She's technically another outcast. She has to go home by herself for hours. It's so sad. And then when you start hanging out with Dojima, you help him. It's like, hey, how do you interact with Nanako? I'm like, it's very simple. I talk to her.
And then I listen to her.
Yes, very simple.
Those two things.
He's like, and you go and drink coffee together. And at the end of his social link, he's like, I'll be your dad, basically.
He's like, here's a family mug, and it just says like world's best mom on it.
He's like, I'm gonna take your actual dad's place. We'll be your actual family from now on. At the end of their social link, I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this. You don't know Narukami's actually parents, so I'm fine with that. Yeah, they were very good.
Rise, we didn't really talk about her social link. It's basically just like, I'm not the idol, but then there was like another idol who was getting more popular than her on TikTok, and then she's like,
I can't have that.
It's like, I need to go back. And it's just like,
she's like, keep paying.
He's like, I'm actually her uncle, or
yeah, like a manager came into town. I was like, you doing all right, Rise? And like you said, it was like her uncle or something. He was like, hey, if you want to come back, you can. You don't have to, but I will like it if you did. So please do it. Yeah.
Does she eventually go back, or
in the fighting games? I think she does what Yu does, and they both come back during. I know that she stays in. She says she's going to stay until she graduates, and then she's going to go back to being an idol because in Persona 5, which is I know they do like the whole 20XX thing to make it so like you can't tell what time period it is, but it's definitely after Persona because they talk about they talk about the second Detective Prince Akechi, and there's also you can get a poster of Rise after she came back, like Rise, Kawakami, and like concert, blah blah blah.
Kujikawa.
Yeah, Kujikawa. My bad. I forgot her last name.
Get the name right. No, I'm just kidding. No, but there, also in Persona Q, there's like a scene where it's like, oh, you're Rise, but you look younger than like the Rise like from our time who's like a pop star.
Yes.
It's like, are you Rise before? It's like, no, I'm Rise after I was a pop star, and it's just like there's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Fox. There's really they can talk.
The Fox had babies there.
Yeah. I mean, cool. There's like did we talk about Naoto's social link?
We didn't really talk about Naoto's social link. Naoto's social link was fun.
It was fine.
You were doing detective stuff the whole time, and it was very different from everybody else's.
Yeah.
When it was basically her grandpa was trolling you the entire time. He was like, hey Naoto, you remember this dorky little toy that you made when you were like 7? And he said apparently, for what we learned, like Naoto's family is so rich that they have secret agents to protect them, basically. And I'm like, this is so crazy.
He's a Shirogane.
Yeah, like super duper trust fund kid, basically.
We have Ko and Daisuke.
Oh, the strength social link.
Yep.
I like Ko's a lot more because his whole thing was I'm adopted, and you were helping him through that.
Yeah.
And then I forget Daisuke's because I never did it.
Daisuke was basically like, I don't like girls because I had a really bad breakup in middle school, and then it was just like coming to terms with like that girlfriend. And then he's like, yeah, okay,
so we've got a bad case of one-itis.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, he's still hopeful.
Yeah.
Naoki.
Oh, that was what's her face's Yosuke's girlfriend.
Yosuke's
girlfriend's little brother. Yeah, he was like, I'm sad because my sister's dead. And I'm like, dude, that fucking sucks. Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want you to pity me. It's like, go ahead, pity me.
It's like, good, I don't pity you because I really didn't care about your sister. I cared about Yosuke, didn't care about your sister, though.
Yeah, and then at the end, he's like, I can finally grieve about my sister now that I'm with somebody who I'm like, dude.
I feel like this is one of those instances where he's like trying to hug you, and I'm like, you're not even like, not even like the hearty pat on the back. It's like you're trying to get away from him a little bit.
It's like a little head tabs, like, okay, here we go.
Cool. I gotta get away from you. Never talk to me again.
Get off. Death, Hisano.
I liked Hisano. Hers was very good.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
I really like the sad ones. That was probably my favorite social link.
Like just going and talking, like, oh man, I get to go talk to the old lady again on Sunday about her being sad all the time. And I was like, I put down my PlayStation 2 controller, like occasionally just tapping it, like just listening to her talk. And it's like, oh yeah, my grandchildren, my husband. Yeah, I wear this every single Sunday to like in remembrance of my husband. I'm like, yeah, like, just tell me your whole story, you old bat. I love it. It was a very good social link.
And there was like at the end where she's like, I want you to find the letters I was sending to my husband, and then like you give them to her, and she's like, finally I have them, and then she's like, I'm gonna go burn them so I never have to like remember the times that I was in love with him. I'm like, dang girl.
Yeah, like again, it says kind of moving forward, like a little lingering link from Persona 3 basically is how I feel about that one.
Eri, the temperance woman. Mom.
My son hates me.
My stepson hates me.
Oh yeah, her husband wasn't dead. She recently got remarried. Wasn't that it?
She got remarried, no, that wasn't her son. I think that was her stepson. But yeah, she just married into like this rich dude who's off working.
Yeah, and she's in the town by herself with this new son.
Yeah,
and she doesn't know how to interact with them. That seems like it could be like the beginning. Persona 4 is kind of like a slice of life anime. If you take out like all the stuff with shadows and really think about it, that's a very slice of life episode to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psycho, the devil.
Yeah, I do it. She's like,
it's a lot like Kawakami.
Yeah.
It's like there's a guy who died, and it's like I have to keep living for this guy. But it's like
I didn't like it as much though. Yeah.
What did you like about it?
It's kind of boring. I think
when she pinned you up against the wall.
I didn't like that part. No.
You.
I didn't like that part. No. I think it was because it was my first playthrough of Persona 4, and I didn't understand how social links work because I was too focused on the gameplay, which was only supposed to be a small portion of it, technically. And I kept going to try to level up her social link. And I hung out with her like 2 or 3 times, and it was like, you feel like your relationship will get closer. You feel like your relationship will get closer. I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this social link anymore.
Yeah. She's basically just a workaholic. Shu, the tower.
I liked how at the end of the social link, your friends showed up and gave him a good happy birthday or something. But other than that, it's like you're just tutoring this kid who doesn't really like you, but his mom keeps paying you because you have good results. So I'm happy to take her money. Yeah.
It's like, I'm the best in class. And it's like, wait, I'm not the best in class anymore. My parents don't love me. I think we talked about though.
Yes.
Yumi and Ayane.
Oh, you ever watched Code Lyoko before?
No, I hate that show.
Dang it! Oh, that's.
You think?
I was just gonna say like Yumi looks just like Yumi. She's like that gigantic freaking forehead, dude. And as a complete tangent, Code Lyoko is not good, but it's nostalgic. So I'm just gonna stop that right there. But yeah, they were okay. I liked how if Yumi, you were going to. I just think I didn't like the hospital in that game, actually.
I think it was because the Yumi story was a lot like a P3 social link where it was just like, okay, I'm to cry on, but that's it. Mm-hmm. And then it was just like, my dad's dying, and I don't like him, but now I have to love him.
Yeah.
And it's like, she's a drama student because it's like, I get to be somebody else. I get to escape into a character.
Yeah.
Thing. Is that what happens to all drama people?
Yeah, you never did any plays in that game either. I was very disappointed. Enjoy the drama club.
I feel like every anime or any anime drama club just never does a show really. Yeah. It's just like the thought of doing a show is really enticing.
Why are we in the drama club though if we're not doing anything?
Just reciting random lines.
We're just standing around. We're just standing around and LARPing all day basically.
With a bunch of props just hanging around.
Yeah, when
do we ever use these props?
Just call us the D&D club, basically. We probably get more done.
Did you do Ayane?
I never did Ayane.
I literally, when I chose the music club, I'm like, oh, a music club. And then I saw, there's this, 12-year-old girl. I'm like, wow, am I really going to, do a romance arc with this girl?
Yeah.
And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, if you choose the drama club, there's actually a hot girl. I was like, oh, you know what? We're
redoing that one, yeah. I think I
choose the drama club. I was an actor in high school at some point, right?
Yeah. So. I think I remember I did this similar thing. I'm thinking music club because for some reason when I got Persona, I was doing band. I was like, I get to play a trumpet. Yeah.
I love band.
There's a 12-year-old in here, and she has rosy cheeks and everything. I'm like, you look like my little sister. I'm leaving.
You are as tall as my hip, so I'm gonna go to the drama club. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but her whole thing was she wasn't really good at the trumpet, but then the lead trumpet player had to bow out or something, and then she had to take the solo, or she volunteered to do the solo, and so she was working up all this courage and practicing, and she was getting really good at it. But then, at the end of the social link, it's the guy comes back, he's like, "I'm back, I'm ready to play it," and then everyone's like, "But she prepared," and then she's just like, "You know what? You can take the solo," and that was the whole thing. So I was like, you know what? Drama club wasn't so bad.
In hindsight, drama club.
Girlfriend's dying father, not a bad alternative.
Yeah. I think in the anime too, when you're doing, because they choose Okane over Yumi.
Mm.
There's a little scene where Narukami and her are like sitting by the riverbank or whatever, and she's playing, and he's like, "Dude, you suck." She just looks at him so dejected, but then he does like the whole thing like, "I know you suck, but you can get better." And then she like hugs him or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. And then like Nanako shows up like right afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah, funny little thing.
I don't know. You didn't play P4G, did you?
I looked at cutscenes.
You know of.
So I know what happened. Yeah,
and Adachi.
Yeah, Adachi. I liked Adachi. But let's talk about Marie before we get to the meat and bones of Adachi. Marie was okay. I feel like she didn't need to be there. Her poetry was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And her.
It's just like edgy teenage girl.
Yeah. And then I liked how when she disappeared, she gave you an extra dungeon because you got a whole bunch of extra cutscenes with like your party members. Like say if you're like dating Rise, you get a little extra scene with her, Naoto, Chie, Yukiko, or with the guys basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a cool little thing. Yeah. And then Adachi, I liked how they fleshed out Adachi because when you're trying to figure out who the killer is at the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking to yourself, you get everybody who's important in town. You get all your social links and everything. And the only person who makes sense is like, you go like, you're getting down the list and it's like Dojima, Adachi, and Nanako. And I'm thinking to myself, like, there's no way that's like, even if it was, that's not gonna happen. It's not Dojima.
It's not Dojima.
He's in the hospital. He could like actually using a little bit of detective knowledge while Naoto's like sitting next to you, is like bewildered the whole time. Like he couldn't be there because when this person died, he was drinking coffee with me. It's literally impossible. So that only leaves Adachi. It could have been a little bit more interesting, but I guess it would have been super hard too.
Oh yeah, I think they did it right. Mm-hmm. I honestly was not really expecting Adachi at the end.
Yeah.
Just because he's like a dork.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like in P4G they kind of lead on to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because he's kind of like, you give him that, like, oh, I'm this guy who's really not supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. Hate my life.
Yeah. Because his whole
interesting this town.
Yeah, his whole story arc was he was a super talented detective back in the city, mm-hmm. except he made one mistake that we never really know about, and then they just like, Adachi, get out of here, go to Styx. So I'm like, yeah, that does feel like you got a bum hand here.
Yeah.
You
know. Was that the same with you? I don't even remember Yu's backstory.
His backstory was his parents went on an extended business trip overseas for a whole year. So nobody's wherever he's from, nobody's in the house right now. They're all just gone. So somebody could have broken in there and stolen their stuff. But aside from that, his parents think that it's a good idea to leave their child in a big city by himself for a whole year. But instead of thinking, my brother, let's send him out to
send him out to Dojima.
Yeah.
The Ryotaro.
And he's like, I've seen you in diapers before. It's all right, bro. But their backstories are sort of kind of similar, except they were both forced to go somewhere, but you made the most of it because he's main character coming into Adachi's
friends.
Yeah, and Adachi's like, I go home and drink beer by myself. I'm like, bro, that is super sad.
And eat cabbages. That's my whole diet, beer and cabbage.
Yeah.
The story.
Reach out for the truth of my life, seeking to seize on the soul moment to now break away. Yeah, the whole reach out for the truth thing was very cool because, again, I feel like they're really getting into their pace on this one because when they get to Persona 5, they freaking nail it.
Yeah.
About how the theme of the game is reflected in the music, reflected in the characters, reflected in the story, about how nobody is really themselves anymore. They're just putting on fronts for everybody, basically. Like with Yukiko, she's putting on a front like, oh yeah, I definitely want to stay home. But at the end of the social link, she's like, I do want to stay home, but for me, everybody's accepting themselves and reaching out for the you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The whole,
they're accepting the truth about themselves.
Yeah, the whole Jungian thing about facing their shadows and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's done very well.
And you don't think they did that in Persona 3? With like time,
I think that they did it better here. Not to say that Persona 3 was bad, but I feel like they really, with the social links is why I feel like they did it better.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Not that. No. Like for the story of Persona 3, they nailed it. If you take out all the social links and only leave in like the cutscenes, wandering around, and like very select social links, Like I say, at least 20% of them.
Okay.
Yeah, like with your Sun social link, that one did it spot
for sure.
on basically. But in Persona 4, I feel like more of the social links in the game were
revolving around that theme.
Yes, and they really nailed it. They didn't. I didn't feel like reused assets like in Persona 3, like with Ken and the star athlete guy. Those are two basically the exact same thing as far as I'm concerned. Even though one of them was like, I'm not as good as this other guy. Like I need to help out my mom. I still feel like, I'm just hanging out with this athlete guy right now. But in Persona 4, there's Kanji, and then there's Shun, and then there's Yosuke. It's like all of them felt like unique storylines that revolved around the theme, and I didn't feel bored because it didn't feel like I had seen the storyline before.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, it's just like I feel like there's a lot more room for just like the humor. Like I definitely feel like another big part of this game was just like the yellow, which is supposed to represent like being bright and energetic and joyful.
Yes.
Which I feel like there's a lot more like room for that to take place in the story and the characters and all that. Which is also what probably made it more enjoyable.
Yes.
And Persona 3 is obviously not supposed to be depressing.
I still like the depressing aspect, but yeah. Again,
but it's probably not just gonna. It's probably just not gonna be like more fun.
Yes.
Because also that's reflected in the gameplay where it's like, okay, like my team is helping me out now, and it's like I can like play as them and like it's not just complete bullshit.
Yeah. In Persona 3, it feels like you're fighting together, but you're still alone.
Yeah, you're still separate from everyone.
Yeah.
Isolated. But yeah, I mean, we pretty much got everything because like all the characters are kind of the story, except for Adachi, Amino Sagiri,
the one outlier. Just to go back to the figuring out it was a Adachi thing, I know this would have been really difficult, but I feel like it could have been a little bit more interesting if they had hinted. It probably would have thrown everything out of the loop, but just on a hypothetical, basically, if it felt like somebody else really could have been the murderer.
I think they tried to do that with like a red herring, like Namatame or whatever the guy is. Yeah, I think
Namatame was just an idiot listening to some random guy.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, oh, it was this guy who was like in behind the scenes at every, but it's just like it didn't really resonate with me.
Yeah, every time somebody tries to call down to the police station to get something done, it's Adachi on the other line. He's just chilling out, drinking coffee.
Oh, hey.
He's like, hey, what's up, man? He's
I can meet you in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
Yeah, Namatame-san, you should totally save them. With just like the most just devious smile on his face, like he's just getting the biggest kick out of this. He's just like laughing on the other end. He's like Joker's type stuff.
I'll see you in the TV.
Yeah.
Did you know what Amino Sagiri
represented?
Yeah.
The fog? Other than that, no.
Okay. For Izanami.
Izanami, the one who invites. No, that was Izanagi. I forgot what hers is.
So yeah, Amino Sagiri is like the fog, and then Izanami was like the person who created the fog, or if the fog is an aspect of her. And she's like the gas station attendant who basically like created the Midnight Channel.
Yeah, at the very beginning of the game, when I saw that character had a portrait, I'm like, you can't pull. I was thinking about them the entire playthrough.
When is this gonna like be important?
Yeah, like when are you gonna come back? And my character gets his powers after like shaking your hand. I'm like, when are you gonna show up again? I've been thinking about you this entire year. And then after the epilogue, when Adachi is, hey, I think that there's somebody else behind this, definitely. You should try to figure it out before you leave town. I'm sprinting towards the gas station like I know it's you. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but it was like they created the Midnight Channel in order to look into like a person's psyche, basically. So like all the Jungian stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like because humans are so like anxious and they're so They like to put up a front that is somebody different than who they actually are.
Yes.
Then it's like this fog happened and then like it got corrupted.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I always think the final bosses are a little much. I actually like Persona 3's like final boss. It made more sense than like the other two bosses.
Yeah, but I think I liked Nyx more because Nyx was a very constant present through Ryoji and Pharaohs.
Yeah, it was definitely much more. It wasn't just I think there's like a final boss after me, wink, wink. It was actually like, okay, we're gonna usher in the final coming of Nyx, and then there's like a cult, and then there's like
everything felt like
leading up to it.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a whole build up type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as opposed to like wait, what's actually going on? Who's pulling the strings?
Like they're pulling up their pants or like coming through. They're like, wait, before the game ends, I'm here too. Yeah.
No, they're definitely. It felt like there was a lot of different, like, okay, we ended it here, but oh wait, there's another ending. Yeah. Oh wait, that wasn't the guy.
Yeah, this isn't the true ending. Yeah.
But then there's not a guy. This is actually goddess who represents like humans' desire for the truth or whatever.
I'm gonna obscure the truth. Yeah. And then they go. I feel like the Persona games handle a lot of social issues in a way that doesn't feel ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Like
it's much more like theme-based than like on the nose, like, we're gonna tackle feminism in this game. Yeah. It's more of like, we're gonna tackle like
just depression in this game.
Something
like
universal.
I feel like all the Persona games are a very good aspect of their time, but also have like a good connection to current events. Like in Persona 3 happens in 2007, 2008, I believe. Yeah. And during that time was like the whole quote unquote emo movement and things like that. But I feel like depression is still, obviously for teenagers, when like I'm assuming we both play these games, it's like very prevalent for us as individuals. Like I can understand that. Also trying to help them move past it. The Persona 4 is showing the light aspects of being a teenager. It doesn't all have to be doom and gloom. Like if you just have a couple of good friends, you can definitely make it through that. And then we can talk about the whole aspect of P5 when we get there.
Yeah, but I definitely feel like there is something that definitely dates each of these games. Like in P3, there's Maya, and she would just talk in like internet speak, but from like I had to look up like what was it? It was like ONZ or something, and it just basically means like somebody's like laying down on the ground. I'm like, oh okay.
Oh yeah, all those like old internet chat group things.
Like emoticons and all that. I'm like, okay. Like squiggle star. Like I had my boss explain what squiggle star is. I'm like, we still haven't explained it that well, but but yeah, there's definitely a timeless theme like that kind of ties everything together. The music.
No, I face out, I hold out. What was the other one? Time to make history. That was Persona 4 Golden's like theme, and then. I feel like Persona 4's intro was probably the weakest of all the intros.
I hate you. I hate you.
You did. Oh, you.
It's probably my
it's
favorite.
It's your favorite one. Oh.
It's my favorite one.
I liked, for Persona 4, I like how they did the. And they're like doing the pictures of everybody as they're like, oh, and that also felt, it had a very good like feeling to it. It felt super creepy about how everybody was all the main characters were being watched essentially the whole time, and it goes into the whole people just want to see what they see on TV basically aspect. Yeah. But other than I didn't like the song.
I love the song. I love the opening.
That's the part that held it down.
Really.
And then Persona 4 Golden's, it was okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of
it. It was just. Special reminder to get your way through the shadow world. I'm like, this is like the original was way better in that aspect.
I'm like, Shihoko, you've done better.
Yeah.
There's all the songs that I'm just looking at.
I loved Heaven though. Like for when you were trying to get to Nanako at the top. It's like there's like this very slow beats. Like I forget the lyrics of the song. It's like there's a very slow, melancholic like choir singing in the background. Like, I've been missing you. And like I was thinking I was thinking about like Nanako, thinking about her mom the whole time. I'm like, don't worry, Nanako, Big Brother's coming. I'm gonna save you.
There's that song, Your Affection. That's probably one of my favorite songs.
Like when you're just running around town, right? Yeah.
It's like I would like every time I hear that song, I like put everything down and then like pick up my bass and like do 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 do.
Yeah. your affection, your affection, your affection. Yeah, that's a very good song. Like the songs, Persona, they was a good song.
Even like there's that song "Like a Dream Come True," which is like the trumpet song. It's like
oh, that's when you had to hang out at GNS, right?
Or just like at like when your friends are like talking to you between classes.
Yeah,
like, even this song is a slap. Like I just every song in that game is just amazing. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, Persona 3. I feel like Persona 3 has like the highest ceiling because it has like Iwatadai Dorm and it has like When Moon's Reaching Out Stars, but then like the P4 just has like a layer of bangers.
Yeah.
And even the victory screen results.
And you see he's just like holding his card up and it's like experience blah 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 blah. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, Persona 4's music was a lot more peppy. Like even with the rap in Persona 3, when you win the Iwatadai Dorm, it is, I imagine, because everybody's just like sitting down like in the living room basically, like reading magazines or playing video games. I wish you could make your characters like sit down and just like hang out with everybody, like having a group conversation. Because in my head, I was like thinking to myself, like everybody's just like chilling out, like watching TV together. It feels like one of the few times where your group of coworkers, because that's basically what C's is until the end of the game where they actually do become friends, they just feel more like coworkers.
Yeah. I would say that the vibe that it gives off is like everyone's a classmate. They're all like, because they are, but it's like they're all like a part of a group project. And it's not like, oh, I like you, I want to be with you, but it's like, I have to be with you.
It's like Yukari really doesn't like Junpei. She doesn't really like Mitsuru. She's kind of okay with Futaba. Fuka.
Okay with Akihiko.
Yeah, she's a little like, he's a cool guy. She slowly warms up to your main character. She doesn't want to hang out with the little kid.
She hates dogs.
She hates dogs. Ken's like, I don't like anybody here because they're all older than me. Junpei's like, man, I really want to see Yucatan and Mitsuru naked. And I guess Akihiko's cool too. And then your main character's like, guys, can we do the project? Well, everybody's like on their phones or something.
Yeah, and Ice is like, I'll help you do the project, but she doesn't know anything about being a human.
Yeah.
So.
She's like, I guess
she needs her own help.
She's like, I guess this is too perfect. They're gonna think we cheated. Yeah. All right. Anything else for Persona 4? We could talk about the extra events. You remember like the Valentine's Day stuff? Oh, this is where they started actually punishing you.
Is it in P4G?
In P4G, yeah. This is where they actually started punishing you for dating multiple girls at the same time.
Yeah.
Because during the Valentine's Day event, if you're dating multiple girls, you can even during Christmas too, you can only accept one of their invitations. They all give you their Valentine's Day chocolate, and then actually
you can't hang out with
them. And the funny thing is, they actually worked really hard, so it's good this time. And they're all like, I guess you're doing something more important today. Like, are you seeing anybody? And you're like, no. And then you go and hang out with the one that you chose for the episode.
If you're gonna date like 6 girls, you need to have the schedule. That's what I'm saying.
Like schedule about like each hour. Like, hey,
how are you spending the whole day with one person?
Yeah. Like, hey, I'll
be a high school dog.
Yeah. Like, I'll be at this location at this time. Meet me there. It was like, oh, I'm sorry, Chi. I got to go to the mall in this next city over. Like, okay, bye. See you. But yeah.
I thought the Persona designs in 4. I don't know, because I do like a lot of Persona 3 Persona designs.
Yeah.
But honestly, the 4 ones, just as a whole, they're okay. I thought Uzumaki's cool.
I thought Uzumaki was cool. I feel like, again, because I actually remember Kanji's Persona name, I feel like I liked his the best, even though it was basically just like a golem with like a skull on it. Then Jiraiya was cool.
Jiraiya was cool too.
I like Susanoo, but I didn't like its 3rd evolution in Golden, where it just basically got a big afro. I feel like they could have done something a little bit better there. I like the way that Naoto's looked after it got its 3rd evolution, because in its 2nd evolution, it got like its Power Ranger helmet essentially. And then its 3rd evolution, it got like the white collar and coat and everything. I feel like it actually evolved. And then Yukiko's was pretty good too, because it became like kind of like an avatar basically, where it was like purely white, but it still had the whole like wing aesthetic on it. So that was pretty cool. Teddy's was dumb. It was Rocket. I didn't like it that much. Am I forgetting anybody?
I liked Ken's design. I didn't like Akihiko's persona.
I like Koromaru's because it was basically Cerberus.
Yeah, that was kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
I like Fuka's.
Yeah. It's a little globe thing, kind of like, maybe imagine like a scouter, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked Orpheus too.
Orpheus was cool. I like when it became Orpheus Telos and the Messiah, even though Messiah is awful because of how many weaknesses it has. It's weak to Nyx. Cool. Yeah, but it looks very cool.
It is weak to Nyx, which is the only fight you need it for, or have it for. Yeah, we can go on a P5.
Okay. Oh, before we go to P5, I like Mitsuru's too. I liked her whole, it's chain whip thing. I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we can have a P5 now.
P5.
And we know that life will change. Da, 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 da.
I don't like that song.
You don't like Life Will Change?
No, everyone likes that song.
Damn. Okay.
I like Life Goes On.
Okay.
There's...
I like the Rainy Day song.
The Not Beneath the Mask of Rain.
Yeah. I'm a shapeshifter at Poe's Masquerade. Don't take off my mask.
Okay, the story.
Story was an absolute banger. I think it had the best story. But there is a problem with the story, though.
Okay.
It's villains. That is the problem.
It's villains. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
talk to me.
Yeah. Let's start with how do you want to start this?
Let's just talk about the villains.
Okay. So starting off with Kamoshida, where you get your boy Ryuji, An, and Morgana. Starting with them. Kamoshida was a bastard. He was a very good starter villain.
He was too good.
Yes, he screwed with everybody in the party in a very significant way for doing minor infractions to him because he had clout to get away with it. He broke Ryuji's leg. He was trying to sleep with An, this 17-year-old high schooler. I know it's legal in Japan, but it's still really weird. And he threatened to get
best friend.
Yeah, tried to did awful things to her best friend. Yeah. Tried to get the main character suspended just for being like, hey, can you not be such a jerk? He's like, suspension. No, he's trying to get you expelled, actually.
Well, yeah, not just like suspended or expelled, but like even if he did that, he would have gotten kicked out of Sojiro's and like probably would have gone to prison.
Yeah, it was just the game felt very stacked against you at the very beginning, which was the whole point. Yeah, but it was a very good opener.
And there's a big sense of urgency, like, okay, I gotta take this guy down.
And it's like we gotta get through the palace. No messing around here. No hanging out with Ryuji after school. We gotta do this now.
And then you get to the palace, and then it's just like, wow, this guy's actually like awful.
He's the worst person ever. He's getting away with actual child abuse, and all the teachers know about it, but the person was like, it's okay. Even none of the teachers want to say anything. Like, this volleyball teacher cannot be that.
He's an Olympic medalist.
Like, who cares? You're gonna let him beat your kids just so they can become an Olympic medalist? I mean, no, you're not gonna do that.
Can you meet Morgana?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the next boss, I guess.
Madarame was good, but the way that he messed with Yosuke, basically.
Yeah, I definitely think that he was another strong boss, but I think it was good that like the team got a break and that it was almost all focused on like this one character.
Yes.
And he just kind of took the brunt end of like the whole thing. It's like, okay, yeah, I basically took your mom in and like made her like indebted to me. I stole all of her art.
Yep.
And the one piece of art you love that you think I created, she actually created, and it was of you, and it was of the love that you like she had for you. And then I like watched her die and let her die. Yeah. And now you're indebted to me forever.
Yeah, this
I was like, oh,
like goodness.
Okay, I had my like reservations, but now we can actually just
now I can just go into the palace and do all types of messed up stuff. And then we can talk about how cool the palaces are later because they had a bunch of different mechanics to
dungeon design.
Yes.
Like, that wasn't just walking around.
Like, all right, I found the chest now.
And getting hit by an overpowered shadow.
Yeah, okay. But who's next? Makoto with the bank.
Kaneshiro, yeah.
Kaneshiro, I felt like he was a little bit weaker, but with the way that he was messing with people in the city was a very good thing. He was getting kids to like sell drugs, basically. This was your first stint into taking on the mob, the Yakuza. Yeah. Basically.
I definitely feel though, like when it got to the point where it was a lot less personal and a lot more societal, it just like my emotional investment in like each of the palaces just went away.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because I was like, dang, I don't like feel like this is a Kamoshida. Like I don't feel too bad about taking this guy down, but it's just like because at that point it's like the more things change, like the more they stay the same. Where it's like you can take down this like mafia boss, but there's always going to be another mafia boss, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like actually taking down Kamoshida was like, dang, we actually got this guy.
Yeah.
And you felt something.
And that's like, even at the end, like you just said, at the end of taking out Kaneshiro, they took him in, but the police knew, like, hey, he was going to be replaced in like a week, basically.
Yeah.
And another aspect of that was, if you're doing like mementos by this time, he's like, you guys owe me 3 million yen, and my character's like carrying around 3 million yen. I wish I could be like, all right, here you go, bro. Fine. He's like, what? But yeah, you have to go take him down.
It's like I've been hanging out with Ryuji. I got the insta kill. I get 3 million in a second.
Yeah, man, this shit, money's easy. I don't know what you're peddling drugs for. Send mementos, playboy. But who was after that? Was that Okumura?
I think there was a fourth one.
It was Futaba.
Yes, Futaba's palace.
Yeah, Futaba was. I liked her.
It was good. It was a P4 palace essentially.
Yeah, but
it was done really well.
Mm-hmm. You get her backstory, what she's going through. Yeah,
you get part of her backstory because I feel like there's a whole other part that just like takes place over the course of the rest of the game.
Yeah, like in her social link and with Sojiro social link.
Yeah. But yeah, that that was probably my favorite. That the palace, the song that plays when I think it's like the days when Mother was here or when Mother was here. Mm-hmm. And that's probably the best song in the whole franchise. Like that one is it, and like the dungeon design in that one. Oh, yes, fantastic. Mm-hmm. But and then 5. That was Akuma, right?
Yeah, that's where my disconnect really hit me the hardest. I think that's a general consensus, honestly, because Akuma really felt kind of disconnected from things. Like, I mean, we know he's connected to like the main boss and everything. Yeah, but still, I also didn't like with the way that Haru got sidelined for Ryuji and Morgana's feuding, basically.
Yeah.
Like, this is supposed to be her palace where she's doing her whole thing of, I'm going to be my own person, rebellion, which is the whole point of the game. Yeah. And it felt like this was more of a Ryuji and Morgana-centric thing as opposed to Haru, because she didn't even get that many lines in there either. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really change anything in her life aside from her dad getting killed. She still...
we just basically killed her dad.
Yeah, she's still in her arranged marriage and like near the end of the game where... Until she's like, yeah, no, basically. It doesn't feel like we really helped her out, which stinks.
Yeah, I definitely feel like not giving Haru like that screen time because like you said, Ryuji and Morgana fighting. I think that was just stupid. Obviously, I honestly don't feel like that needed to happen at all. And then like the palace obviously is not supposed to feel very monumental. Like, oh, we really changed this, because I feel like that was definitely when they were like, are we just doing this for like popular opinion? Are we doing this like because we feel like it's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
Because apparently, like, if you remember, Akuma was not actually like the highest rated guy.
Yeah, somebody hacked the site.
Yeah,
and Mishima didn't feel the need to tell that. Futaba had to find it out.
Yeah. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was Sai after that.
Yes, I like Sai's. I was like, oh, given to temptation. I just spin the wheel. I was grooving to that one. I liked her Palace's theme a lot.
That's a good song.
I liked how at the end we really didn't change her heart. Like, similar to Mishima, how she was able to do it herself.
Yeah.
It was a very good thing. And then the whole plot twist that we can get into later.
Yeah. Then was it Shido?
Shido, yes. Shido's was, again, we just keep going higher and higher in society. It's kind of that we've really lost the disconnect with Madarame and Kamoshida by this point. It feels like we're up here instead of like dealing with like grounded issues.
Yeah.
And it's good that one of the final bosses is connected to your character, but I just still feel a very huge disconnect with what's going on because of the way that Shido's boss fight goes. Because you fight him like 5 times.
Yeah, but it's like really quick too.
Yeah.
It's like this guy's not putting up a fight, and we can go into why that is later. But yeah, it just did not feel very
climactic. Yeah, I mean, I know it's the point, but still, like, this is supposed to be like your main character's enemy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I should feel this more than Kamoshida.
Mm-hmm.
But, the Mementos.
Going down. Mementos felt like the dungeon crawling in its best aspects, and that we could get around quickly with the Morgana bus. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sprint.
Yeah, it felt good after, say, we beat Kamoshida, we go down like 10 floors of Mementos, we beat Monorame, go down another set amount of floors. Like, yes, I made it to the end, this feels good. Like, even if it didn't eventually lead you to getting to another place, even if it was just an optional dungeon, in my mind I was thinking, like, this obviously has to be important.
Yeah.
But I felt good going through Mementos. There was just so much to do there. Especially with all the extra requests that you got and how it related to other social links that you were a part of. It felt important. It was good.
Yeah.
And then the final boss, he was like, oh, I'm gonna...
Yelled a bay off.
What was his thing again? His was like tricking the masses, basically. Yeah, the whole thing was like about trickery. And what did he want? He wanted to control everybody, right?
Yeah, well, he was like, I am the manifestation of like humanity's desire to be controlled. Like, it's like people want like to be controlled, and they want like a schedule, and they don't want to do things themselves. And that's why like the Phantom Thieves were good, like juxtaposition to that, because they wanted to control their own fate.
Yeah.
They were rebelling against like everyone's complacency with their lives.
Yeah, and I think we saved Maruki for later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you gonna go to now?
We can go to the characters.
So let's start with Ryuji.
Ryuji, or Morgana, actually.
Or Morgana, technically. Yeah, Morgana's okay. Morgana was kind of annoying. Like, I like Morgana.
Yeah, all the mascots were just kind of eh.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like the inferiority complex with Morgana was probably the stupidest part of the game. Like, that's probably why I disliked Akurumura's dungeon the most, is because we had to sit through all of that.
Well, like, between Ryuji and Morgana's drama going on.
Well, it wasn't really Ryuji's and Morgana's drama. It was more of Morgana being like, taking a step back and being like, well, like Ryuji's the muscle, On's like the sex appeal, Yusuke's like the calm and collected one.
Yeah, he brings everybody back together when they're being too hot-headed.
Yeah, Makoto's like the brains.
Yeah, Futaba's the info guy.
Yeah, and then I'm just like nothing.
Yeah.
So that's why Morgana was like feeling that way. I feel like it was definitely less of Ryuji, but Ryuji definitely catalyzed it by saying like, you're such like an idiot.
Yeah, well, to be fair to Ryuji, Morgana at the beginning of the game took every opportunity to do that. Like, say Ryuji misses somebody, it's like, oh, Skull, you're so useless, and he does it with the biggest shit eating beer. I'm like, can you calm down, Morgana?
It's so true.
Like, we're teammates here, you're not supposed to do that.
Like, it was very uncharacteristic of Morgana to just go off and be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go find like my own team.
A brand new team. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, aren't you the one who's supposed to be super cocky, and you're not supposed to like feel? Well, I guess I can understand that, because throughout the whole thing, there was this whole thing where it was like, I don't know what I am. Am I a cat? Am I a human? What am I? And it was just like, okay, like you can have this identity crisis later, because like we're trying to do another palace right now. So on.
Oh, it's cool.
I call her On. I still think it's Anne.
Yeah, I think it's, but I mean, everybody says On, so I say On now. I like On.
And Haru is actually like Hal, but it's Haru.
Oh yeah, I kind of like with B-Stars, but Fool's Guild talks about anime.
Fool's Guild talks about furries. Furry anime.
Furry anime. The kind of okay furry anime.
Not one anime. Actually, there's another one. Have you seen Odd Taxi?
I have not.
That one's pretty good, but it's not really like a furry thing.
Okay.
Even though they're all animals.
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
On.
I liked her relationship with Shiho. Her social link was actually kind of fun when I think about it, about how she's trying to, she's like part foreigner, she's like, what, part European or something?
Yeah, no, well, it was like she's a quarter American. And I was like, but wait, why does she look more like white than Japanese? Whatever.
It was her coming to her identity with like being exotic, basically. That's why Kamoshida liked her so much. Yeah. He's such a creep. That crimson chin looking son of a bitch. But yeah, like it was her coming to terms with
VeggieTales looking at
her coming to terms with being foreign, wanting to be a model, having like being sexy and being okay with people looking at her in certain types of ways, coming to terms with herself. Even with like that other model who was trying to undermine her, she basically laughed it off at the very end. She's like,
Mika,
yeah, she's like, you do your thing, girl. Like, you can try to undermine me, but I'm going to be better than you. It's like she formed a friendly rivalry through all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And your main character was there to help her out the whole time, other than like giving her a thumbs up. She was like, I want to make my heart stronger so I can be better for Shiho, so I can be a better model, so I can be a better person. I'm like, yeah, on.
Yeah, you're basically just her cheerleader the whole time.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
I personally wish that she would have done what every other character did, though.
Mm-hmm.
Every other character basically took their their in-palace arc and completed it. Because a lot of characters, like Ryuji, because we've already talked about him, he like took his arc from like Kamoshida. He's like, Kamoshida kind of ruined my life.
Yeah.
And we're finally getting revenge on him.
Mm-hmm.
But then it kind of, you don't have any of the wreckage from like his past until after, where you're like going through a social link and you're saying like, okay, here's his track team, here's like this coach that they brought in to replace his other coach because like they wanted to just like push him out, and then now he's like making amends with his teammates and all that, and so his kind of arc wraps itself up in the social link. But I don't think Ans does that as much as like him and Yusuke and Futaba and Haru. Definitely. Because I wish An would have like spent more time with Shiho just as like just to wrap it like that. That could have been the whole
like
thing.
Shiho doesn't show up until the end of the social link. Yeah. That did not make me happy. Yeah.
And then it just focuses on like her modeling career, which I think is fine. But you could have done like, like I'm doing a modeling gig in this like one region of Japan where Shiho is. Yeah. And so we can visit Shiho now. Like that would have been cool.
Yes.
Yusuke,
I loved Yusuke. My boy, artist boy, loved him so much. He's such an odd. When you're hanging out with him at the church, and he's like, "Strike a pose for me," occurs like, and then at the end of the event, he copies you at the exact same time. And then when you're right, he's like, "I need inspiration. We need to go to the park." And you're like rowing him in the boat. And he's like, "Stop right here." He like starts drawing a couple. He yells at them to stop moving so much. I love him so much. He's like, "Where do I go next?" Inspiration, mementos. And I'm like, my character's like, dude, there's shadows in there that could kill Suzuki. He's like, we gotta go over. And I was like,
let's just go floor one.
He's like, all right, I'm loving your enthusiasm. Let's do it.
It's like the Reaper's coming, bro.
Yeah.
You hear the chains.
Oh man. And then his whole thing with getting that scholarship. I feel like he should have accepted it at the end. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
But his whole journey was trying to make art in its purest form, and I really love that.
Yeah.
Just he tried to veer away from what Madarame was doing and doing it all for profit. And obviously, to make a living, he's going to need to profit off it a little bit. I'm glad that he came to terms with that. But I feel like it could have been a little bit stronger if he had fully accepted. Like, his arc definitely comes to a conclusion with him forgiving Madarame in a certain sense.
Yeah. With
how he viewed the art world. But I feel like it could have been a little bit better with him accepting the profit and the I love art aspect. Obviously, the I love art aspect blew everything away. Yeah. But I still love Yusuke. He's so much fun. Such an eccentric.
He's a great character.
Yes.
Makoto.
I like Makoto, but I wouldn't sing for her. I feel like a vast majority of people who play the game are like, dude, Makoto, she's such a cool person. I'm like, 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On SD.
Okay. All right, talk fast. So Makoto was cool.
Makoto, I definitely feel like she's in the same boat as An, where they didn't really have any sort of confidant arc at all. Like, it was just focusing on her friend who was dating this host.
Yeah.
And there was just no like, oh, Makoto is like going on this like journey, and then at the end she's just like, you know, I want to be like a police officer someday.
Yeah. I'm like, cool.
I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. I don't care that much.
Yeah, I honestly also think that her dungeon didn't really paint her arc that well, and it wasn't until like Sae's dungeon, which was towards the end, where I was like, okay, Makoto, you're actually like being character.
Yes.
But that was also like a Catchy's moment to shine. So I feel like there was a lot of toe stepping there, as well as like with the Haru thing. Yes. Speaking of Haru, the goddess of being off screen.
Yeah. They did her so dirty. They did her a little bit better in Royal, where she shows up at the beginning of the year on the Hawaii trip and a few other times sprinkled in between there.
Yeah.
But that poor girl got sidelined so hard. It's always really difficult to be the last joining member of the team.
Yeah.
Because she joins in November when the journey's damn near over. It's like you only have a couple of dungeons with them.
Yeah.
They did.
She's strong as hell.
Yeah, they did. Like, Naoto was the 10th party, the last party member.
Yeah.
And when she shows up in October, but she was there, like, the entire time. Like, at the beginning of the game, Dojima was like, tell Shirogane to kiss my ass, basically. And she shows up during Kanji's thing. She shows up right before her dungeon. She just keeps showing up, popping up. But Haru was, like, until Royal, she was like, I'm off screen.
I definitely feel like there should have been a lot more involvement, even with, like, the Kaneshiro dungeon, like anything involved with like the higher ups, like she should have been involved, or just like she could have been a crush for like Ryuji.
Yeah,
like,
or she could have.
Morgana was like, oh, who's that girl?
Yeah, she could have been like one of the people that you talked to about Kaneshiro. She's like, because she's an older student, she definitely could have heard some rumors about something.
Yeah.
She's like, I heard about so and so Chan. She got in some very big trouble. Like, do you need help? And you could like go like, no, we don't need help.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Or she could have even been a part of somebody else's confidant early on.
Yes.
Which would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Futaba.
Futaba was fun. I see Futaba. I wouldn't sip her either.
Literally like 12.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like she's your little sister, basically, with how Sojiro and her work. I was like, Futaba, I want to see you be more social, have friends, and do stuff. And that's why I'm really glad during Sojiro's social link. He's like, don't get with Futaba. I'm like, don't worry, bro. Don't have to worry about that.
I have 9 girlfriends. She's not one of them.
She's not one of them.
Akechi.
Bro, I love Akechi.
Okay, we can talk about that later, though.
Yeah.
Yoshizawa. We don't have to talk about Yoshizawa.
Who was that again?
She was Sumire, Kasumi,
Kasumire. Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, your bird social link. Yeah, she's okay.
I simp for her, though.
Okay.
I'm a big stan.
You're a big stan? I feel like since she was supposed to be the thief foil, the Fimsy, yeah, she was supposed to be the foil to your main character. I feel like she could have showed up a little bit more often. But yeah.
The confidants.
They were all very strong. Again, aside from Oya, they were all very strong.
They were all very nice.
Like Owai, great social link. No Good Suna, very good social link. Sojiro, great social link.
Insane.
He was damn near perfect. He beat Dojima for me with Hierophant. Like, he was that good.
He was that guy. Yeah.
Like, he was even connected with Shido. Like, there's so much information about him. He's like, he really opened up the game. Takemi, great social link about her trying to make a miracle drug to help people, but she got outed by a jerk doctor.
By her higher go.
Yeah, Kawakami, her with like the devil from the last game, about her coming to death terms with the death of one of her students, helping her out with that. Super great. Even the fortune teller lady was actually kind of fun.
She's okay. I felt like there were a couple dry ones, like her, Hifumi.
Hifumi's could have been better, yes. Hifumi was supposed to be one of the Phantom Thieves, actually. You remember that? Yeah, she was supposed to replace Makoto, I think.
No, I think she was another
edition
thief.
Okay.
She had a different hairstyle or something. But she did go to another school.
Yes.
So that was
she was supposed to be Yusuke's one friend at the other school. Yeah. That would have been good.
Did you talk about Yoshida? That was definitely one of the big ones. The son.
Yeah, the son. Yes. Again, another character who was connected to the top. A little bit of him being a former politician.
I don't know. That's almost all we have.
Okay.
I want to talk about the music. One last go.
Life will change.
The Tokyo Daylight.
I'm not a figment of your Asian old mind. Dang it, I forget. How does it go? I gotta remember the beginning of the song. Like, I'm forgetting the name. What's the Phantom Thieves, like their central theme? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting it. I'm not an image of. God dang it, I can't remember. Life will change. Da, 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 da. I'm forgetting the music.
What was the central theme of this one?
Rebellion. Against the system, man.
Yeah, and that's what the red is. The red is definitely like the sexy color, the cool.
The rebellious color. Basically, everybody in the game wears black. Like, is their primary color with addition. Joker's is black and red. Ryuji's is black and white. on is mainly red. Then Makoto was gray and black. Yeah. Haru's is like black and pink. Yusuke's is black, white, and blue.
Kasumi was black.
Mm-hmm.
Akechi was basically black, but
from his
when he was fronting.
Yeah. Then
we didn't talk about Akechi.
Akechi, loved Akechi. I got Death Note themes the entire time what was going on. I was like, it's the rematch that L and Light were waiting for, except in video game format. Except I got to be L this time and win like I should have, but that's another discussion for another day.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this game's voice acting was way better than the other two, especially from like Ryuji and Akechi.
For real?
For real? No, yeah, I like Ryuji. I felt like I was talking to a human just because of how he was like portraying the character.
Yes.
But Akechi was like a great performance. Yeah. So I definitely feel like the characters in P5, like in your main team, they were definitely like a gang. They were like a group of friends. Yeah. That was like P4. P4 was like a group of friends.
Yeah, they were still your friends, but as a unit, they feel a lot stronger. Everybody even though they worked well as a team, everybody in Persona 4 felt very individualistic. And not to say that the Persona 5 game didn't, is like everybody knew how to play off of everybody's strengths in that game. And then in Royal, where you can get like their combo moves, essentially, everybody in the group has a combo move with everybody else, which is really, aside from like Joker, it's very good. Like, On and
Morgana have one. On and Yusuke have one.
Makoto and Ryuji and Yusuke, and then
Makoto Haru.
Yeah. And then sadly Joker gets one with Akechi.
Joker gets one with
Akechi and Sumire. I feel like he should have gotten one with at least Ryuji and maybe Morgana.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I thought it was fine.
Whatever.
They only have a small budget.
Yeah, only a couple million.
A couple of Sega bucks.
Yeah.
But the confidants, I definitely feel like made the game way too easy. That's what I was saying before. Like the Shido fight was not that hard, mostly because by the time you get to the 7th dungeon, you've maxed out a lot of your confidants.
Basically all of them.
You get like free massages. You get like Hifumi's double gold at the end of battle. Yeah. You get like you can switch out characters.
Yeah, all of Takemi's stuff. Like you can get an SB adhesive for everybody who needs one. You got all the like 50 LeBlanc coffees saved up basically, so everybody's getting their SP back. They're just drinking that stuff up.
Yeah, every character has like a follow-up, and every character will block Joker from certain death.
Yeah.
Can wake you up from status.
Yeah, the Gaming King, if you like sneak up on somebody, you can do the bullet hail thing and basically knock your enemies down to half HP.
Yeah. You can like
Ryuji's insta-kill yet again.
You can like unload your clip and just down all the enemies.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, that's an insta-kill. But yeah, that on top of like in P5R, in Mementos, you had Ryuji's insta-kill, which would just kill an enemy, like if you're dashing past them, if they were to a certain threshold. And then you had like Hifumi's, I forget what like it was called, but it basically doubled your gold at the end of like a fight if you beat it before the first turn ended. Then there was like Jahaya's fort, like it was like money fortune or something, and it like gave you like double money.
Yes.
And then you had Jose's 200% Mementos gold. So if you insta-killed an enemy, you were getting like so much gold. Yeah. And so you would get like, you'd start getting like maybe 1 million gold per hour or 1 million yen per hour. And then like by the end of it, you were getting like the max yen in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, so you just go to Takemi's clinic and be like, hey, I'm buying everything. She's like, what? Yeah. Everything?
Yeah, what do you mean everything? Yeah, everything. Yeah, you would like gold is everything in that game. It's personas, like you can craft Satan for gold. Yeah. It's just like, and in P5R, you know how the twins give you like you can buy personas that are above your level at the max rank. In P5R they do it at like level 5.
Really? Didn't know that.
And at like rank 10, it's like you get a discount. I'm like,
nice.
That's like crazy. Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely a lot easier than like 3. But I feel like 4 definitely had the most balance.
Yes.
In terms of like actual combat.
Yeah, I hope when P6 comes out, just say for crawling through all the palaces, They don't have to go with the whole sneaking aspect because I feel like that belongs to Persona 5, but I hope they keep that sense of we can get through the palace in a smart and efficient way instead of just like stab, shadow, enter, fight, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, what are your thoughts for P6? What do you want to happen?
Not green.
Not green, why not?
I don't want to, everybody wants it to be green. I'm feeling, this is one of the few times I'm feeling like a contrarian, not green, anything but green.
But green's cool. Green's into the environment. They want to protect the environment.
That's true. First game was about the P3's depression, P4 was accepting yourself, P5 was rebellion. I guess Persona 6 can be about recycling. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing even just because I don't know, because it's going to be a male protagonist, but I wouldn't mind just seeing like a female protagonist.
I wouldn't mind them trying to do the female MC again. They can keep most of the dialogue the same, except change it at the very end where the guy's like blushing or something. It's like, oh, I like you too, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I hope the dungeon design is similar.
Mm-hmm.
I hope like they can just use the same engine. I don't mind the engine.
Yeah,
it looks clean.
Mm-hmm.
The UI kind of gave me headaches sometimes.
That's fair.
I feel like P4 had the best UI.
Mm-hmm. Was it the way that Joker was like swinging around all the time?
Well, yeah, it would just be like you select a menu and then like a whole other like explosion happens on screen, and I'm just like, what's going on?
It's like Joker's holding up his phone in the pause screen, and then he like clicks a button. He's like, it's like he
jumps up and gives you like a half moon.
Yeah, it's like you get your confidant page. He's like looking behind you. Your confidant is there. And it's just so much crazy stuff. If you went to the settings screen, you would actually break the screen. It would just like fall through. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but like this feels like it's alive.
So let me write this.
Yeah.
Just like opens a book, like whoosh.
Well, now, what should I talk about now? What should we do? And then you give that to Sojiro at the end of the game. He's like, this kid, I should sell this as a movie.
Wow, there's a lot about my daughter in here. I don't know if I should be reading this.
I did not do. I held hands with Futaba on the way home. That's all I did. I swear.
Yeah.
I can't remember other than Life Will Change, I can't remember the lyrics. I remember the lyrics to basically everything else I really like.
There was something interesting while I was doing this, because it's like there's the Killer song that goes like all these things that I've done. Have you heard of that one?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when there's nowhere else to run. There's like,
was that a Catchy's theme?
No, there's like a main like line in the middle of the song where he goes time, truth, hearts, and I was like, wait, that's like P3, P4, and P5.
Mm-hmm. Did we talk about Maruki?
No, I don't really want to though.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
It's just kind of like, oh, do you want all of your desires to like
be true?
Be true.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, no, because I work for the life that makes me miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I'm going to rebel against this just because I can't.
Just because
that's
I can't.
the theme of the game.
Yeah, because I can. I imagine like somebody like throwing something through a window, basically. Like, I can do this.
And then there's like a whole scene where they're just like slapping each other with like a white glove.
Yeah.
It's like,
what other songs in the game did you like? I like the Rainy Day mix. I love that one.
The Rain one was good. Alley Cat, which is the sad like.
Mm-hmm. It's like after the gang like messed something up, they're all just like sitting in LeBlanc like.
Sojiro was just talking. He's like, oh, back in my day.
Yeah. Did I sure get around?
Boy.
I couldn't get the one woman that I actually loved though, and now I'm
Well, you should have seen me in my prime.
Like, dude, I got around.
Dude, there was one, like, you know how he's like, let me explain, when you're like making coffee.
Yeah.
And it'll like show you, oh, this was made in the Andean mountains of Peru. And it was like, these were brewed in like a camel's ass. Or whatever.
Yeah. That's what Haru was talking about.
No. Yeah, I was literally like, for one of them, I would just make up my stories. Like, I would just be like, oh, this one was made in elephant poop. And then like halfway through Haru's arc or her social link, she's like, do you know what this coffee was brewed in? And I was like, no. And she's like, elephant poop. And I'm like, I made that up. There's no way you actually just said that. And then like one of the responses was, I can taste the elephant. And I was like, yes.
Listen, God, where's my phone? I left my phone somewhere. Whatever, who cares? I really want to sing a little bit of the song, but I can't remember. I'm so angry right now.
What's it called? Life Will Change?
Life Will Change, yeah. Just pull up the lyrics. Don't actually pull up the music.
Oh, we might get copyright strike, yeah.
Yeah. And you know that we're out there, changing lives in the making. Your empire for the taking. Now we know that life will change.